Hey everybody, before we get started, I just want to remind you this episode is brought to you by our patrons like Akko Comics, Qua, and Nestor Flores. If you like what we do and want to see us do more, consider supporting us on Patreon. You can get access to episodes early and lots of other goodies, and it would really help us out. Thanks for your support, everybody.
Thank you.
And you can get access to extra things like people enjoying right now, because this episode's live. Hey, hi everybody, welcome to Let's Talk FGO.
Proceeds.
First show of 2019, we're doing a live show. Live with the audience. We got a whole bunch of people in here right now. And you too could be in here for just as little as $10 a month on Patreon. They're saying hello to people who can't read this right now. All right,
Good job,
so
Baltic.
this is the 2019 version of Let's Talk FGO. Everybody remember to say 2019 now. I am one of your hosts, Four Swords Omega. And with me, as always, is King of the Demon Gods, Lucky.
Yes, this title pleases me. Everyone, I hope you are all enjoying Fate Grand Order, aka Welcome to the New Year. And while we here at Studio Omega like to bring you the latest FGO-related news and memes, we will be talking about current and future events for both the JP and EN version of the game. So anyone not wanting spoilers should just go plan for the future.
Yes, much planning, such future. So, well, first of all, we should say, last week we didn't have an episode. We're sorry about that. We were both sick.
Yeah.
Well, there's some other stuff, too, in that just we were like, do we even have a show? But then it was very easy to go, you know what, we don't feel good. We can skip a week for our own health. That's a thing people do.
It was actually kind of funny because I actually completely forgot that skipping a week was actually an option.
That we could take sick days?
Yeah.
Yes. That's a normal thing.
I was like saying, no, we should like probably just push it back like a day. And Omega was all like, we're not feeling it. We could just skip. And my mind was literally blown at that moment. I'm like, oh yeah. Because like, honestly, we have been doing this we've been doing this for like a year and a half now.
Yeah. I
like
think
so
the last time we physically skipped an episode was because literally I could not record it because I was hit by a hurricane and had no power and internet. Like, we missed, I think, a couple weeks for that.
Yeah.
So otherwise, our posting schedule is pretty good. Our editing schedule is not always great, but we'll talk about that some more later, I think. But yes, we're here.
Yeah.
We were planning on having Voice on, and we invited him and everything, but he's a busy boy, so our kind of like getting sick in the holidays and stuff has goofed up our schedule. So we asked if he wanted to join, but he's not been available. So I assumed that, he's staying not available. That's fine. He has just completed 2 big videos. His Merlin video, which was great. And his recently released Who to Save For in 2019 video. Though it's funny, if we had done a show last week with Voice, it would have been on his exact 1-year anniversary on YouTube, which would have been great, but we were dead, so. Shout out to Voice for doing this for a year.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he will join us
there you get so much
another
more
time.
Popular.
Though I did want to joke, especially after the Merlin video, that I didn't do it because I didn't want to make Voice feel bad, but I wanted to joke. Voice, can we just get Rinny on instead of you? Okay, thanks. Rinny, by the way, who helps with some of the VA stuff and is, I would say she's the primary artist for the channel. Like, she does a lot of collabs with him and draws his art assets. And yes, she is great. It would be sad, though. It wouldn't be sad. It would be rough for her because I'd want her to do her Ibaraki Gremlin voice the entire show, which might be rough. But hey, if you're listening, you can come on the show too. We don't need voice.
Actually, we should probably put it out again that we are totally open to collabs with other people.
I don't know necessarily what we talk about with other people, but I see all these people with multiple thousands of views, and I'm like, So yes, if you are a more popular FGO YouTuber than us, but you like our show, we will totally let you come on, and you can talk about whatever.
Like, honestly, I think we could do like more of an open forum kind of thing. It's like, here, just let's sit, drink something, and chat about FGO.
Yeah, we could, and just have more open stuff. And heck, if it fits the schedule, we could even have more roundtable, less newsy type podcasts with people. We can be those guys. Just feel free to attach attach your names to our brand. It's a little sad. This episode I cannot title. What was it I was going to do? It was going to be something like 2018 in review with voice of St. Quartz. I'll have to come up with something more clever. Though it's, excuse me, I'm sorry. We're both drinking, so I'm a little blah. But oddly enough, it's been interesting to see that a couple of our more, usually the titles which do best are the specific ones like the blah 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 event or blah 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 pregame. But some of our more clever and catchy titles have been doing pretty good. Like Solomon Samba and Painty Shots did very well. Solely Barbaric with Professional Wizard did very well. Which was a reference to Barbatos dying. Oh, hey, Voice is here.
Oh. What the heck?
Where did we drag him from? He might actually be on the show after all. Hey, if your mic's set up, Voice, you can feel free to jump in. If it's not, that's okay. I know we were just talking about how we rushed to have you on. All right, so Voice is saying 1 second. So it looks like he will actually join us. It's funny. We managed to bullshit the show out long enough that he showed up.
I feel bad though.
What, that we dragged him into the show?
Yeah,
basically?
like, cause like one of the things he asked for is like, make sure I just have, like the topic so I know what the fuck to talk about, and like we haven't done shit.
Yeah, I have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about.
See?
Well, yeah, we're gonna do.
Hey boys, we missed you.
Yeah, we were just talking about how great you are and how you've been doing this for like a year and all that.
Yeah, we were. Yeah, we were shilling you a bit and
really?
thinking about like trying to poach Rennie. I think. I don't know.
Yes, I joked that I wanted to say after your Merlin video that we don't want you on the show anymore. We just want Riddy instead.
That's funny. Why? Because of her voice or because of her art?
Column A, column B.
Oh man. But
yes.
let's bullshit a little bit more so Voice can have a chance to look over the notes. But
well, yeah, let's go ahead and move through our regular segments.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think we've done enough intro, and the Voice is actually joining us. We're under 10 minutes, so it's not late or anything. Let's go ahead and check in with everybody's favorite Kohai, who is totally still alive.
Oh my god, I cried.
Senpai, 起きてください.
That's right, everybody. It's time for Wake the Fuck Up Senpai, our regular segment for pro tips.
First one is fucking mine, and I'm gonna say this because I don't care. Guys, even if it's in a game, revel in your victories. You've been playing a game long enough, like a year and a half, and have made it to the end of part 1. That is something that I find fucking impressive. Do you know how many people have, like, joined and quit in this time frame?
Several. I actually, I took somebody off my friends list today who hadn't logged in like 8 days.
Yeah, I usually give people I'm usually kind of mean. I give people about 2 days before I say, alright, I can make space for somebody else.
I go 7 days.
Yeah, Lucky's
but
yeah. I usually go 3 because I'm like, unless I know them specifically from like our Discord community, then I'm like, okay, I'll give you some time. I see you every day, basically,
the only
so
time
I will
I
accept.
let them go longer than 2 days is if I really, really like their support setup.
That's
yeah,
fair.
that's the thing. I said no, but I've been making like room in my friends list because I've been getting friend requests from new players again. So I'm like, well, they're gonna need some strong cast players, and
yeah, I have. It was funny because when you start FGO, you can tell who started as a whale basically, or at least started spending money on the game because they were like right away they had some SSRs or something, and then slowly over time, like we evolved to the people that newbies want to grab, whether it was. Like, I got very lucky very early on rolling Jean and putting her in my all slot. I got tons of FP that way. Or later on, as we've been doing the show, players, like, want to get in with us and hang out with our support teams. So it's very interesting to see that kind of turn around. And
one of my rules, though, is if your support setup doesn't, like... Because I check in with, like, the new players that I'm friends with. If you don't, like, level mash, or you don't actually start updating your support, I don't care what fucking level they are, just get the fuck out.
Yeah, that's another common cutoff, is if somebody friends you and then a week later they're still level 1 mash with no CE. It's like, okay, you're not trying.
Yeah, you're not trying. Get out. Get out.
We don't want to be
It's like,
mean, but there's only 70 friends I can have in this game, and there are millions of people playing it.
I just think to myself, though, especially on like JP, because JP is very skewed at this point, because it's inevitably going to be like this for NA, where there's going to be so many people who have such like great servants, like level 100, 10, 10, 10, most of their lineup is going to be that. Like, so people are going to be nitpicky more and more with who they add to their support, but never shun the newbies because they need friends to even progress in the game.
Yeah. That's something several of our community who have started playing JP have talked about. It's like, oh my god, give me some friends. I can't do anything in this game.
Right.
Yeah. So here's a secondary pro tip. Take care of the fucking newbies.
Yeah, that's not in our notes,
like,
but yes, the new player base is important to this game. Please help them.
Yes.
Let's respect the spirit of noblesse oblige. If you have all these baller servants and someone's trying, get your help, just fucking give it to them. I'm pretty sure you only use like 10 of your friend slots anyway for actual, picking your support setup, because everyone has those like 10 whale friends. Especially if you've been playing for a long ass fucking time.
I don't know about whale friends, but I definitely know that I have my preferred, because my 3-turn farming setup only works if somebody has a Raikou with K-Scope right now.
Hey, guess who that is?
That guy,
Just
and also
remember-
like our Discord mods and several other people.
Just remember, you were once a new player, and you were once starved for friends.
Oh my god, Nerofest 1 with that fucking Lancer Dragon.
Oh my god.
That one guy on my friends list with a level 90 Altera got so many friend points.
But back to my original pro tip. Guys, we have beat Solomon. We have fucking made it.
Woo!
Which, by the
Like,
way,
literally-
is a great way to check in for newbies right now, because they don't have the completed Part 1 rank.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you know somebody's
So-
new and they need your help.
So, revel in your victory. If you're a legal drinking age, have a drink. Have a drink for several reasons.
Just be
And-
proud that we even made it through all of Part 1 successfully, and are, in fact, moving on to Epic of Remnant. That's an achievement for the NA
Yeah,
server,
because
right?
Korea almost didn't.
Korea. Like, there's a lot of like talk about bots and whatnot. NA, it's like who knows, but Korea definitely had to do some quote unquote divine intervention there.
Because they were gonna lose. And lose hard. Like, it took them like 40 hours or 35 hours to beat Barbatos. Which, by the way, we're, I think, number 2 after JP. Or I think we were just ahead of Taiwan in terms of beating Barbatos.
Yeah.
I think we talked
Well,
about
so
that
again,
on the show.
our version is also the global version, so we have like everybody.
Oh yeah, no,
that's, like,
it's
not
it's
just-
great when you can go to bed at like 2 a.m. in the morning or whatever and be like, so there are people still playing on the Pacific coast, and then there are people waking up in Hawaii and in other Pacific islands, and then people in Europe wake up and play, and just, we're always on. We are the server that never sleeps.
That's right.
Man, that's a great way to describe global.
But yes, no, we were second only to JP in terms of beating those pillars. And JP has so many fucking players. Oh my god.
That, and they also have global players, too, so that really helps.
Oh, yeah.
True. But yeah, they're well, I think they were at, what was it, 8 million? No, they were at 7 million was the last downloads event, which was only like 4 million for us or something, or 5 mil, whatever it is we're up to. Well, we'll see soon, because I'm gonna run down the list of upcoming events.
Yeah, it's been a little while, because the last one we had on NA was Jalter, I believe.
But I think next month should be Da Vinci with what was 8 million. That'll be good. Too bad I don't have any quartz for that. We'll get to that in a second. So the second pro tip that I wrote out for a longer form one was always pace yourself. There is a lot of reruns and stuff coming this year. And honestly, some of the new events are going to be pretty hard. Don't go super hard all the time, okay? Play at your own pace. Don't burn out. Like, don't just beat your head against the wall doing reruns over and over again. There's going to be real new content to hit, some of it which will actually be worth your time. So, relax, pace yourself.
Remember, you don't have to be like the people who beat an entire event in one day. These events go for like 2 weeks, maybe a week and a half for a reason.
Yeah,
Oh my
now,
goodness.
listen, we appreciate the people that play those, like, we have several people who play JP and, like, beat every new story or event right away. We appreciate you. that you do that. But that's not required. Like, if you hear somebody say, oh, I rolled 500 lotto boxes, you don't have to do that. Those people are crazy.
You can't see me, but I am nodding energetically.
Yeah. Lucky and I, well, we're both filthy casuals on Discord for a reason, because we feel accomplished when we clear, like, 10 boxes. You know? Oh, we got everything that is unique in the event, and we cleared a couple extras. Go us!
High five!
Hopefully that carries over well on the microphone. But yes, let's go ahead and check in on Records from the Throne, our regular achievement topic. This one's
first
in
one.
black because it's both of us.
Yeah, Foundation of Humanity Restored. That, like, some people it's like, yeah, isn't that everybody? That's a fucking achievement.
Yeah, it is. That's
You saved the world.
also,
Yeah.
it isn't like it was a fucking cakewalk.
Like, oh my god.
I didn't have it as hard as some people. But, well, we'll talk about that when we get to actually discussing it. I may have cheesed certain phases of the boss. It's his own fault, though. Really, Godia, what are you doing? You've watched us beat up 7 singularities. You have to know being a multi-hit AoE boss sucks.
Yeah.
That's dumb. That was dumb of you to do that. But all right. Well, Lucky, you're in blue, so you're up first in this.
All right. So, I threw whatever tickets I had at the time at Merlin. Got extra Vlad. I also hit my 550 days, so I was able to, like, throw 90 quartz for Musashi. Didn't get her, though. But on my GSSR, I rolled on Ryder, hoping for a Lucha Nason, and I have Noble Phantasm 3 Drake and New Year CEs. Honestly, though, I'm gonna say, like, some people are like, oh my god, like, Noble Phantasm 3 Drake. I'm like, no, I'm okay with this. Because this just means I have one less level 1 SSR that I have to, like, you know, put on the shelf and get dusty while I struggle to, like, level up servants.
Yeah, we're gonna have
Like,
a lot of interesting conversations about what you can and cannot be mad at FGO for.
Yeah. Like, because as I said, I still have a huge backlog of SSRs that I need to level. And I need to, you know, treat appropriately, as it were. Excuse me, sir, I have Void Shiki, level 1, Nero Bride, level 1, Tamamo Lancer, level 1.
You've got all my fucking sabers, you fuck.
Yeah. Level 1 Altera. I have Noble Phantasm 3 Artoria, level 1.
The man has no QP.
Okay. Like, I have no QP, no Empress. I should be farming right now. I've just been feeling like utter shit. Like, and that's just like, I have like all these sabers, berserkers, like, Med and fucking Aussie, level 1. Like, excuse me. Yeah, I'm gonna roll on the GSSR,
And you,
but,
wait,
like,
hold on. You did
What?
roll on Ryder even though you had those two?
But yeah, no, I wanted Lucha Nason.
She's got a banner, though. Whatever.
She comes back with Ishtar later, though.
Like, the only
Also,
other option
there's
I have.
a class-based campaign.
No.
coming up.
The only other person I could have learned that had good roll was Lancer, and that would have been for Enkidu and Karna.
Well,
Like, and I already have Artoria Lancer, and I have Skahawk.
yeah,
so,
you're pretty
like,
set for Lancers.
Like, I'm pretty set, so it's like literally, I don't need like I think I mentioned this. I have an SSR, single target, and AOE for all class. Well, no, not for wait, no.
Like,
Yeah,
just doing
no,
math.
because I got fucking oh god, I can't think of his name. Fucking
What's the class?
Amakusa.
There you go.
Amakusa. So yeah, I even have it for fucking Avengers and Rulers.
Rulers,
Really
other
isn't.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think
You get
I think
some extra.
Avenger is like
Alright.
the only one. So it's like,
well,
yeah,
hey, guess
so
what?
basically
Prison
any-
Tower's coming back, so if you want Dantes...
No, I can't right now. I gotta.
Wait, no, you don't have an SSR, but you have Gorgon, right?
Yeah.
There you go. You got an AoE.
Yeah, so it's the thing of like I don't need new servants right now, but I'm not gonna let a guaranteed SSR pass me by.
That's fair.
So I was like, all right, instead of like rolling on something that I air quotes need, I should roll for something I want. And like honestly, I'd have been fine with getting MP3 Drake. I would have been fine with getting MP2 Med, MP2 Aussie or Quartz. So I was all like, all right, like logically speaking, for what I want and what I already have, this is like the most logical choice I have. Trust me, I spent like 3 weeks thinking about this.
Obviously.
Just,
Well, nobody would shut up about it on our Discord for like a month. And I'm so glad that
Yeah.
that's passed, because hey, guess what? you don't get to choose what GSSR banner you're rolling on for another year.
Yeah.
Because the anniversary one is one pool.
Yeah, so I was literally on my computer desk looking at lists of SSRs, doing the Gendo pose, going,
Math. You're doing you beautiful minded it?
Yes.
Alright, so I rolled Writer because I had literally no SSR writers. And I got Kets and Martha. My first copy of Martha. Now I have all the launch 4 stars. So yay, me. Also I protected Merlin Arama Smiles.
Oh, fun fact about when I rolled on GSSR, the writers, my first card was a gold card. It was Marie. And I was like, oh, you cheeky girl, you. I can't be mad. She got burned for a rare prism. I now have 20-something.
Yeah, well, that happens. Hey, you're close to unregistered spirit origins at this point.
Yeah, I have MP3, Drake, and Waver.
And Artoria, you said earlier.
And Artoria, yeah. I keep forgetting because she's level fucking 1.
Alright. Now it's time for not all the world's evils, but damn close. Well, actually, let's ask Voice, what did you get on your GSSR polls?
Oh, that's a good question.
Well, are we talking NA for me or JP? Because most of my time nowadays is focused on JP.
Either.
But I still rolled on the GSSR. I don't know if this is spoilers for a later conversation, but with the 43 limiteds, which is really interesting, I had basically a 1/3 chance of pulling anyone I wanted. I actually did the calculations and started marking down people on the chart, and I was like, here, this third I want. And there's another third where I wouldn't be excited about them, but whatever. I would take them anyway. And then there's another third where I actually have them, and I'm like, please don't give me that third at the very least. And lo and behold, I got Mama. And I'm like, yes!
Locked
because
in.
I don't have her on JP. I have plenty of SSRs on JP, but I am lacking Mama, and my god, is she still so good.
Yeah, super good job.
Okay. Nice.
So, very happy about that. I was hoping for there were a few others I would have been super excited about, like Okita Alter, but Mama's a really, really good choice for Basin.
We'll talk about it's I think it's passed already. Oh, maybe not, because it's part of the New Year's event, so it's got a few days left. But we'll talk about what the exact pool for the new JP one was later. But yes, it's a good pool.
I figured as much.
And what about on NA?
On NA, I haven't pulled anything on NA ever in the past several months because I've just been I'm with Lucky. Too many servants.
Mm-hmm.
And you're actually playing 2 versions, so you can afford to go, I'll just roll on JP.
Pretty much. I've only been exclusively rolling on JP, especially because JP's so much more giving when it comes to Quartz, so I can afford to do that more. So.
Yeah, we'll catch up someday. Who knows when, though?
Definitely. When you guys do, you will not be looking back on these days.
I'll be glad because, boy howdy, there's not a lot of Quartz in the first chunk of this year. Which really hurts me a lot. But let's move into Not All the World's Evil now. We're damn close. There's 2 distinct ones here.
Yeah. Mine's the first one. I never can experience the ending for the first time ever again. I think this is one of the things that always hurts me the most, especially in stories, especially ones that you become so invested in, is once it's over, those feelings you have, you'll never have them, the exact same way again. I beat the game, in bed, cause it was one of those things where I woke up, I'm like, oh, okay, let me check things, it's all, I woke up, let me check this fucking trash heap. The trash heap is beaten. I'm like, oh shit. I start going into, the final fights and whatnot. I was still in bed 2 hours later. I hadn't eaten anything, gone to the bathroom. I'm like, no, this is ending now. I'm finishing this. There were tears on my pillow from rolling down my cheeks and shit. I'm like, no, I'm gonna finish it. And then it's over, and I'm all like, oh my god, I can be human again. And then you're just like, I will never have that experience again, and that makes me sad. There's a lot of games that do that for me. Undertale getting the true pacifist ending. Never can have that again. What's another game that makes me super sad that I can never do that? I don't know, but it happens every once in a while. And I'm FGO is definitely one of those for me. Because as I said, I've been at this for a year and a half.
Yeah. Actually, fun fact, we saved humanity on my birthday. So that was pretty cool.
Woo! Happy birthday.
Yeah. So to wildly transition from that deeply personal and emotional answer, hey, it me, 200 St. Quartz no Musashi. I will say, my SR luck was truly impressive. I got up to NP3 Centeno. Actually, it's NP4 because I forgot that I already had at NP2, so I got 2 more. NP3 Mary, NP2 Martha, that's including the first Martha I got from the GSSR. NP2 Extra Vlad, and I got NP2 Fran from Zero Frans. So apparently I ran out of SR luck in 2018, so I had to chip into 2019 luck. Also got a fuck ton of anniversary CEs. I Max Limit broke First Arrow and Cuckoo Nest. I'm pretty close to Max Limit breaking First Sunrise. And by the way, this is actually updated. I didn't write it down because I wanted to do it live experience, but this is actually closer to 250 St. Quartz no Musashi because I spent a little bit of money. Don't worry, audience, I paid Lucky first. But I spent a little bit of money and still no Musashi. But it's one of those things, I talked about this before, you can't really be mad at FGO because I got NP2 Herc and I got Volumen and Vessel of the Saint. So it's like, you still haven't given me what I want, but you're giving me good stuff. I can't be angry at you. And when I hit 550 days, I think tonight, Musashi won't be back for until this weekend. But when she does, if I don't get her, it'll be closer to 300 St. Quartz no Musashi. But I'm gonna try. I'm still fighting. I want Musashi for multiple reasons. I'm gonna keep fighting for it. This is always the weirdest thing, because, I got Merlin in 110 pull on a whim, not even trying. I was like, fucking my support will be full of Merlins. By the way, my support is full of Merlins. But I still rolled because everybody was doing it, and I got him, and I'm like, well, okay. Now it's like, all in on Musashi, fucking nothing, except all the stuff I got, so I can't be mad.
I'm drowning in SSR Sabers.
It's like me and my summer rolls, where everybody congratulated me on NP3 Tomo Lancer, but I'm like, but I just wanted Summer Mordred. Cries, dies.
That sounds like me on JP recently with the Bradamante pulls. I spent, I think, at least 190 St. Quartz on Bradamante, and I got tons of Marthas. Regular Rider Martha. But I roll for Casternero when her rate up was up for New Year's this year. Mm-hmm. I got her in 2 10 spins.
Nice.
It was
That's
easy. Good. I was just like, damn, awesome.
Yep. All right, so I think that's all our prelim stuff. Let's actually jump into the news. So I'll do this first one because I was once again trailing the stream live, like it was asleep or at work or something. But Winterfest had a second stream, which had some more news. So the Orchestra CD is coming out January 30th. That'll be cool.
I want it.
I know.
I want it.
There's more merch. They showed off some carrying cases and stuff. I wrote 30 hours of TV special. I think that was 30 hours to TV special because they did a countdown. We'll talk about the TV specials later. This will also come out. There was FGO Arcade news, which I said immediately we should riot on mobile. Da Vinci Chan's small 4-star writer campaign. Yes, that's right. Arcade got something before we did in home servers. Riot.
Yeah. I did retweet from my server her kind of her stats and abilities and such, and I gotta say though, she is really adorable, but she's not particularly impressive even for a 4-star. So, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. Really it's interesting. Jonathan. She's obtained by completing several special requirements of playing Arcade during the event. She's basically a welfare for Arcade, which is very interesting. I was one of those people calling that she'd be a future welfare. There is no way that they would, in the more exclusive Arcade, they would set up her to be a more accessible unit than in the wildly popular mobile. So I'm hoping we should expect that sometime. I don't know if the stats and stuff carry over 1-to-1 between Arcade and mobile, FGO Prime, but we'll see.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
All I care is once she comes out, I would literally be able to complete an all Lolly setup in FGO.
You'll be able to have an all Da Vinci setup. 2 Da Vinci casters and 1 Da Vinci Lily.
Also, the adorableness is high. She has a tank that is a cat.
She wears rollerblades and has a backpack with giant claws in it. Excuse me, sir. This is too adorable.
It is. The adorable level is high. Oh yeah, they did the in-game countdown to New Year's special. There was quarter AP on main quests, half AP on Sin free quests. There was also some apples and logins on a specific day for a ticket. They talked about they wanted, once again, 100,000 retweets for over 20 million QP. I'm sure it was 2019. And then a 4-star CE, which I'm sure they got. They did a Mana Prism Lucky Bag. They added the Dream Flames, basically the Bond Grail, as people are calling it, to the store. I think they're in the MP store, not the Rare Prism store, but I'd have to double check. And so I believe this is still ongoing because it's, got a few days left in the event. But they detailed the GSSR on the stream, which is limited servants only, which is great. So the complete lineup is/was, depending on what day you're listening to this. Arthur, Okita, Sigurd, Nero Bride, Musashi, Void Shiki, Summer Artoria, Ishtar, Gil, Summer Jean, Moriarty, Aresh Kigal, Skahak, Summer Tammo, Bryn, Summer Alter, Ivan, Iskandar, Ilya, Skadi, Summer Nero, Merlin, Da Vinci, Cleo, Shuten, Semiramis, MHX, King Hassan, Kintoki, MHXA, Hijikata, Raiko, Amakusa, Shihangri, Sherlock, Dantes, Jolter, Okita Alter, Kiara, Melt, Summer BB, Abigail, Hokusai. 15 Saint Quartz only. And in case you can't tell, that's a fucking great lineup.
They didn't have MHXAA?
XX is in the pool, but she's not guaranteed. Because she's 4-star.
Okay, that's what it was. I can't remember. I fucking messed up.
I think, you could theoretically roll Lip in there and stuff, too. Actually, here's a good question. Did people only get Okita from it? Because he's the only limited 3-star? Was that a thing? I didn't see a lot of tweets about that.
I didn't see anyone pull limited 3 or 4 stars. I did see multi-limited 5 stars. Like, some people pulled more than one limited 5-star, but I never saw a single single roll of limited.
Maybe they fixed that because that's a quote-unquote exploit for the anniversary pull, which was if you pulled on the extra class, you could literally only roll extra classes. Hey, guess who's the only 3-star extra? It's Salieri.
Right, Salieri. Mm-hmm.
So everybody got their NP5 Salieris because he's story-locked.
In fact, it was considered a bad roll if you didn't get close to NP5 Salieri.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's how common he was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that was interesting. Also, on the stream and stuff, they showed Kiyo's animation update and talked about that Tomacat would get one. Later, also, we see that Fion got updates.
Can we talk about Tomakats?
Tomakat's got the updates that she finally fucking deserves.
She takes
naps. My god, they are...
She fires laser beams from her mouth.
Yeah! Her extra attack is a giant fireball, except sometimes it's a giant cat omelet. Excuse me. Excuse me, This is I don't care. This is the best animations I have seen in fucking forever.
And her skill animation when she lifts up the dish to show the meal that she's created, it's shown that there's 4 different ones she can go between. It's great.
Yeah, that's pretty.
It's good. they have put a lot of effort into Tomo. They gave her an extra they gave her a specific animation for her napping. And yes. Apparently, I think, I don't know if this has been confirmed, but apparently she can be stuck in that animation when she's stunned. I don't know. But
her NP stuns herself, that's her taking a nap, so I assume that would mean that she might proc into that other way.
Yeah, but it's it is fucking great. Her animation's she turns her tail into this giant flame. I'm not gonna lie, Kiyo's animations is great too, especially because they updated the her Noble Phantasm too.
Yeah, it's the whole thing.
Yeah, it's the whole thing.
She's no longer doing generic caster fireballs.
Yeah, her animations are more in line actually. What I'd say with her summer version, with breathing fire and throwing shit.
Mm-hmm.
But Tomocat is because I've been asking for Tomocat updates for about a year now. Because as I said, and I finally got them. So yay! But they delivered and above it. I would say her Noble Phantasm's still not anything particularly special, but to begin with, it really wasn't anyway. Because
they spiced it up a little, with they added some extra effects to the slashing effects and overlays, so it looks more dynamic. But it's still cartoony, so it's not hyper detailed. The more bonus is the fact that she does the napping animation right after.
Yeah,
I'm just glad they kept the cat.
Yeah. As I said, Tomocat is literally my my favorite servant because, as I said, she was with me day one and she carried me through she was she carried me through the game for a long fucking time. She's like one of 2 Bond 10 servants I have. So this makes me happy.
All right. Okay. So, Lucky, why don't you go ahead and jump in because you wrote all
this
this stuff.
this guy Ayame has just said all Tama Catworth is burning. Can I just kick him out of the Discord?
I mean, physically you can. Yes, I think you're an admin.
I mean,
I'm pretty sure you could exclamation point ban.
I mean, heck, can we talk about the fact that Fion's technically not even worth burning anymore?
Yeah, actually, we're gonna, because that's the next thing is we're gonna talk about the actual JP New Year's campaign. Lucky, I think you wrote all these notes down because I was like super sick.
I wrote some of them, but actually, yeah, it is actually a good segue for the JP New Year's campaign. So first off, we got the new limited SSR Saber, Benny Imma, or possibly another million ways to write that, on raid up along with Tomo Cat and Fiond, along with dank new CEs. As I said, Mega will probably give the deets on her later, and I will gush appropriately over Small Bird Cook. But also super important is we got new interludes for basically which are upgrading skills. So for Tomomo Caster, her curse has been changed to Witchcraft, which does additional MP damage up for 3 turns on all allies except for herself. Which, honestly, like, I said this earlier, but I feel like this is an attempt to put Tomo kind of in the same vein as Skahawk, Scotty, and Merlin. Because this, it basically puts her as the arts equivalent with her Fox's Wedding, this MP damage up, and her morph really doesn't do anything special, so you can't say it's like full blown. But it's basically the arts equivalent of what Merlin and Scotty are doing. Because Waver, Waver is your neutral. He's like no colors. He's just, you throw him in like whatever team. You use Merlin for Buster, because that's what he's good at. Use Skahawk for Quick. And when you were thinking about it, Tomomo was kind of the arts equivalent for that, but she didn't have anything to particularly give anyone more extra oomph. Now with Witchcraft and MP damage up, she can give that extra oomph.
Well, see, she always had Fox's Wedding, but the thing is, I think her biggest difficulty was she was slow relatively to like Merlin and Scotty, and even Waver slow to start, because they all gave NP gauge, and she only did it on her Noble Phantasm, and you had to set up for that. So giving her like 20-30 would make her really slow, technically speaking, compared to even Merlin, because he has Dreamlit Charisma and stuff. She doesn't have anything like that as a skill.
Which, personally, I would say... By the way, I'm back now, if you didn't hear me talking for a while there.
Sorry.
Yeah.
That made sense at the time, because a lot of arts comps were stall-based. So, obviously, it's fine, whatever, she'll take a while. You'll be here plenty of time. But you're right, that compared to, like, how fast you can get started with, like, a Merlin or a Scotty meme, like... Tomo was a bit of a slow roll.
Yeah. You would actually need to set her up with a steroid in a CE in order to make her actually fast. Because once she gets going, then things start moving. But the others don't have that problem. And that's, I think, why this is good, because she's actually amplified. Instead of making her faster, though, they're actually amping the power of everyone else, because they're, I guess, like Omega said, they're expecting that... arts teams, they're gonna get their NP gauge fast, no matter, even if Tomomo's a bit slow, the others will make up for it. And so, therefore, having them increase their NP damage, and for 3 turns too, I'm just like, I think that is a step in the right direction.
Yeah, I think fucking arts cards.
I think they're trying to balance out the meta. That's why I honestly trying to feel. They're trying to get away from, this one trick pony like solution to everything, which was fucking slap double Merlin on that shit and go to fucking town.
Right. And before it was slap double Waver on that shit, because Waver is still the universal kit.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, as I said, like, now it's gonna be literally Waver, and if you can't do double, it's gonna be Waver and like whatever specific flavor you want. But so, like, again, like, very good direction. Surprisingly, Fion got an interlude. His trouble with women now does an additional Noble MP gauge charge to himself, and they reduce the cooldown by 3 turns.
Which he absolutely needed. Because
He
that
did.
12 to 10 skill cooldown is awful.
Yeah,
to get, by the way, to get a taunt and a percentile based evade, it's only 100% chance of evade at level 10. It sucked a lot. By the way, do you guys know the translation of his skill now? It's not
what
Trouble
is
with
it?
Women A. It's called Magnificent and Extravagant A. This smug motherfucker.
It makes sense.
But yeah, so now he's got a 30% NP steroid, which is great because he's supposed to be an arts comp.
Yep.
Right.
I said, so Theon is definitely like on the way to being viable. I think people said he only needs like really one more good interlude and like skill interlude, and he'd probably be.
Well, yeah,
a
here's
pretty
the thing:
viable character.
he's stuck with Magecraft, which sucks. It's a worse mana burst for arts. So just rank that up so it's a full like 50% or maybe some other effect. He'll probably be solid, and then we'll have literally
Right, so-
overhauled all of his skills, and he has an NP interlude.
Because isn't he still the only AoE arts offensive saber? Or sorry, not saber, a lancer?
I believe so.
think
Yeah, Lancers
so,
are
yeah.
bad at arts.
Yeah. So I
And
mean,
they're like-
he really needs to get a move on because he's all we got in that
Yeah.
department.
Unless Canis is arts, but I bet not.
Oh shit!
I bet not though.
Yeah, so here's another one that actually kind of surprised me in a good way. Tomomo Katz, her curse has changed to Witchcraft, which gives her an invincibility 1 time, 5 turns to herself. This combined with her morph lunge to upper infinite has made Tomomo Cat kind of a tanky berserker, which I think is a really, really strange thing to have, but at the same time, I think really kind of helps her kid out personally.
Yeah, she is.
Well, yeah.
She is a tanky berserker, which is weird.
Yeah.
With
But it
that
works.
MP too, she can easily get all of her HP back in just like 1-2 turns.
Yeah,
Like,
she already
honestly,
had,
like,
she had
Tom-
morph to tank up, but now she can resist her own stun, and her NP gives her HP recovery, a bit like Jean's situation. And also now
Yes.
that she's got an extra like, oh, also I have a 1 turn invincible, or if you're gonna throw some shit at me, and it
so
it
like,
lasts
she
multiple
can
turns, so it doesn't matter that you reduce their charge. You can still be like, nah, brah.
Yeah, it's like I said, curse. Like I always kind of found curse useful, especially curse was always my oh shit button,
Right.
Yes.
and so losing it, like I kind of feel bad, but at the same time, I'm like, no, I'd rather take this invincibility because
Well, you don't lose it. It still
you-
does the original curse effect.
Oh, it does. Oh, I didn't know
Yeah.
that. Oh, that's fucking nuts.
Yes.
If anything, I think that's maybe a little wonky because like you're probably going to apply invincible when a noble phantasm is about to happen, but if you're using curse, then
Well, but-
Well, here's the
I
thing. Though,
remember-
like I said, remember the invulnerable lasts 5 turns. It's still only 1 time,
Right.
but it's 5 turns. Also, here's
What
the
if they
important thing.
attack her within that
Um,
time, then
Also, here's the important thing to remember. Even at level 10, Cat's version of Curse sucks. She's a max 60% chance of down. So this is
Right.
like, okay, if my NP gauge drain doesn't work, I've always got my invincible.
Oh, you know what? You're right. That's probably why it's latched on there because they didn't make it better. They didn't make the actual curse better.
No.
Yeah, but as I said, Tomo Cat, I think is like if I remember like the tier list, Tomo Cat was like always down in like the C area.
It's pretty low. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a feeling people are gonna be reevaluating that. She might make it up to like
Because she
B.
has endurance now, and also, well, she's not properly quick because she's still a berserker with a berserker gorilla type deck.
Oh
but
man, but you can generate so many fucking stars off her fucking.
yeah, she's got a 5-hit
no-
quick noble phantasm,
Just something really cute.
which
to
has an
think about.
NP interlude.
She is actually described as being like a thicker version of Tamamo no Mai. So I find the fact that her having like higher endurance and being tankier is just like literally going into that lore where like she could take a punch like literally because she's like all muscle rather than
Tamamo thick.
Tamamo who's all squishy.
she's actually like heavier than Tamamo.
Right.
Oh man.
And
She's good
speaking of
midwife.
morph, though,
Oh yeah, last one, Kiyohime, not surprised. Her morph got changed into increased defense up as well as an additional apply ignite, basically amplifying her burn effect to the enemy team for 5 turns.
which at
Which
level 10 is 100% burn damage plus, so it doubles
Yeah.
the burn damage she'd do.
Which is pretty good.
Yeah, which is good because her burn damage sucked. It's 500 at base overcharge. So now it's with her skill, it's 1,000 minimum. And yeah.
As good. So again, the Lightworks, they're putting out the fucking work into making older servants definitely more viable. But they're still not, they're still making...
We didn't quite hit what I believe they said their goal was to overhaul all the bronze servants before the year went by, but
yeah,
they're trying.
They're trying. There was actually an article that I saw floating about with Nasu and talking about the game, and there's a lot going on there. It's like some shit takes
we can talk about this a little bit on air, but
yeah,
there's a lot of panic. I think it's not deserved. Because Nasu's like, I'm definitely going to end the story after part 2, and it's going to be glorious, and you're going to feel sad and stuff. And he talked about how he'd been playing Undertale, to reference your earlier conversation, Lucky. But at the same time, I've had this discussion with the Discord. Everybody, don't panic. Remember that this is a super popular, business investment. There's no way that the people who run the business end of this are just going to let him go, okay, I'm done, artist out, drop my mic. They're like, that's not how that works.
There's no way that they actually have a legitimate application / audition online already for a third director to the game to replace him.
They literally the Lightworks has advertised they want a director for part 3. So there will be more to the game. What Nasu is talking about is like an app overhaul, I think he wants to do, and like he might think that he wants to like crash and burn the whole thing to start over again, just because I'm sure that's his artistic ethos or whatever.
Right.
I feel it.
But I'm pretty sure that Aniplex and Lightworks is not going to let him just literally crash the servers on like January 1st, 2020. Oh, right. Time crashed and everybody died. Lights off.
Well, honestly, like I was thinking about this, they could technically do like as the system is right now, they could technically do like a complete rework of the app. Because, as I said, like, the accounts aren't bound to, like, Twitter or not. They're literally just fucking codes. So as long as they, like, implement some sort of transfer system...
they're attached to the device, and then they have a bind code, and everything's stored server-side.
So, like, because that's, like, I think that's the big thing that everyone worries about, is, like, what about all the fucking servants I have?
Right. And the announcement that, because they have licensing partners, the announcement that there's a hard stop to the game would kill future investment.
Yeah.
Like, everybody playing other servers would be like, well, my money's gonna go away in, like, 2 years, so I'm not putting any more into this.
Right. There's no way they would let Nasu say that if they didn't already have a backup plan in place right now.
Yeah, so they obviously, on the business end, they have a plan. That's not to say that the end of Lost Belt won't be emotionally devastating, because fucking Nasu. But
it's fucking Nasu.
But I totally accept that, like, people have been asking him to finish the Tsukihime remake for years. And yes, the reason why he hasn't finished is because he keeps coming back to write FGO.
He likes it.
I said this, I think, in our Discord. Like, I know that he came back to write basically the last half of part 1. Camelot, Babylonia, and I presume Time Temple Solomon. If he wants to take like 2 years off and then come back to finish a chapter, that's fine. That's great. That should give him the space he needs.
Not to mention, I don't know why anyone would be scared of this because of how many mainline Fate entries have been handed off to people who are not Nasu to write them.
The concern is just the way he phrases it as, like, ending it at the height of it. They think that people are worried he's going to do something artisanal rather than businesslike and, like, pull the fucking plug or something.
Right.
This is my masterpiece, it's finished, boom. Which, like I said, don't worry about that. I don't think the business people will let him do that. I'm all for maintaining his creative integrity or whatever, but there's still business decisions that need to be made. We talk about this a lot. Businesses have a very specific way of doing things, and they will not let these things, like, crash and burn in such a way.
Having looked at the extensive history for various reasons, like panels and stuff like that I had to do, about FGO and how it came into the place that it currently is. If I could describe Nasu as anything, it would be first, storyteller, second, game designer, and definitely, dead last, business person.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
His origins is games.
He said this himself. Though I joked in our Discord, people are letting Nasu play games that aren't Bloodborne. That's scary. You're giving him new ideas.
Yeah, Nasu's influence are very much in tune for whatever the fuck he's watching. If he's writing shit while watching Undertale, I'm about to have my heart fucking ripped out at some point. I feel it.
You're not. We're not gonna have a good time. He explicitly said that he'd played Undertale, and like the feeling of like complete emptiness that comes with finishing the game.
Oh my god.
So I'm like, fuck. He's Also, here's another funny thing. There was an interview with a Shingon Buddhist scholar who is Nasu's friend, who does like Buddhism tutorials online, who apparently is Nasu's source when he wants to talk about Buddhist bullshit.
Cool.
Which is crazy. Cool. I should go ahead and tell the story on air. Hey, I figured out why Amaterasu is a fox lady. It's all syncretism's fault. So here's a fun fact. They cited in this interview what specific shrine it is, but apparently there's a shrine to Amaterasu which was syncretized with a shrine to the inner shrine was always Amaterasu, but the outer shrine also incorporated Dakini, who is a Hindu deva who was obviously adopted into Buddhism. And apparently when Dakini came to Japan, her appearances was changed to a half-naked foxwoman. And so, because in this shrine, Dakini and Amaterasu are syncretized, this means that Amaterasu is also a half-naked foxwoman. And thus, the connection between Amaterasu and Tamu was born because Nasu is a madman. I like his style, but he's completely insane.
But he's also very clever.
Yeah, no, like, and I'm sure that he did the actual, like, research to, like, oh, hey, here's a thing we did once that was kind of weird, that means that technically these are supposed to be the same. What if I wrote about that? It's just,
man.
The cleverness often takes a backseat to what's cool. Like, we talked about this earlier, like, why Excalibur Image is a thing, which is, Nameless in Extra has an attack where he traces Excalibur, even though he's explicitly not allowed to do that. Which was... Basically, from my understanding, the game dev team made the animation first, then talked to Nasu about it, and he was like, oh, you can't do that. But that animation's really cool, so leave it in and we'll make up some bullshit.
Nasu's also known for basically breaking his own rules in every mainline entry of Fate, basically for that reason.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Because he wants to
if it would be cool in the story, that overrides the rules of the story.
Alright, so we talked about the strength ups.
He literally did that in Fate Stay Night itself, so...
Yes, exactly. There were many, many rules broken in Fate Stay Night. In fact, the whole reason why Fate Stay Night exists as a story is because of how fucked the rules were. Oh gosh, all this stuff shouldn't be happening, but it is. Shit.
Nothing but exceptions.
Alright, so, let's roll back. We were talking about interludes and rank ups, basically.
Yeah, we were done with that. So basically, there was a rotating New Year's banner featuring Sigurd, Gil, Skahawk, Summer Nero, Jalter, Cleo, and Hokusai.
This New Year's banner is great, by the way.
Yeah! New Year's themed Mystic Code looked very swanky. I have still no idea what the fucking actual skills, though, are in it. Boys,
one of those max HP up.
Yeah.
So max HP up, there's an NP strength up, and then I think there's an NP gauge boost.
Oh.
Hold on, I'll look it up. Because I'm in the wiki already. Let me double check Mystic Codes. The wiki didn't update yet.
I can beat you to it, I have it.
Yeah, no, you can actually look in the thing.
Yeah. It's an NP strength up, it's an NP gauge boost, and it's an HP up.
Nice.
Seems honestly, I think that's a pretty good setup. That's pretty strong. Probably best in, arch teams, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
though
probably.
The max HP up would, of course, perfectly complement Merlin, because that's the thing he does.
Right, just plus the teams, too. Pretty much anyone, really.
It's just good, and it looks good.
Yeah, really.
More Mystic Codes.
Yeah!
And more costumes.
Login rewards. Yes. I'm still waiting on my fucking Saber Alter costume. Gimme! Login rewards where you get 19 of some stuff. And there's some kind of New Year's events. Like, honestly, I've been seeing screens of it, but it's all in fucking Moonspeak, which I don't properly speak.
Yeah, Daily Report of the Sparrows Inn is they're doing it's an actual event for once. It's 2 weeks. It's the whole thing. It introduces Swordburb, and you have to gather items and maintain an inn, and there's lots of fun scenes and stuff in it. It'll be great to read in 2 years. Also, by the way, this is my official Omega peering into the future calling some shit out. There are allegories in this event to the tale of the bamboo cutter, including gathering the 5 impossible treasures. So everybody, watch the fuck out for Kaguya-hime. Just everybody
Moon Princess!
tuck in and watch the fuck out. Because
Singing
Nasu
good.
wrote a Kaguya-esque story once, I believe.
I hope she's a rabbit girl.
Not a literal reinterpretation of the tale of the bamboo cutter, but something similar about people living on the moon and stuff. So it's obviously something that's in the ethos. And yes, no, just watch the fuck out for more waifus.
Rabbit girl. Give her a mochi hammer.
Also, watch out for possible part 2 banner that's got Old Man Lee, because he shows back up in the event as a support.
Yeah.
So you can play as him now.
Also, I will say one quick thing from actually playing the event myself. It's very strange. They have the points ladder, but it's timed. Like
Yeah, you have to turn in the points at times.
Yeah, you get certain times you get points, and I think it's based on how basically your activities prior to getting the points.
Really?
Because it's varied for me. Like, the more activity I've performed, the more points I end up getting in the end. That's how some people are able to make it to, like, towards the end of the story quicker than, like, me right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's basically how you climb the points ladder. I think it's their way of slowing, like, forcing a slowdown on people so they don't literally bombard the event right away and clear it within 24 hours.
Also, it is interesting that this is the one event, I think, where you can change your time zone, and it actually matters.
Yes.
It's not server time-based, it's individual time-based, which is cool.
Actually, actually, if I remember correctly, like, during the first couple of days of the New Year's, like, DW had a bit of server issues, because, there's just so much going on. I'm trying to remember exactly, but especially like the game would crash like at the summoning screen. You wouldn't lose your summons, but you would just be like, you wouldn't know what the fuck you got because the game would crash.
Right.
I remember actually the fantastic fucking artist Pocha Ida had this happen to her, and she posted about it. And I've been seeing like a few accounts about it like on Twitter and whatnot. So, I think the DW is like, all right, we need the people to fucking, like, slow the fuck down.
Slow your roll. Literally.
It's like, pace yourselves. Our servers can only handle so much. But that's it for that. So let's bring it over here to North America. Happy New Year, 2019. It's pretty fucking basic. As I said, it's nothing that people really weren't expecting. You know, got login bonuses with new CEs, tickets, and various other things in increments of 19. We got our Musashi batter rolling right up with just Ishtar and Kentucky.
As people predicted.
Long ass wordy Musashi trial quest.
Oh my god, it's so wordy. What the fuck, Nasu? Why is it when you write about Musashi, you have to write a fucking essay? Why?
Because she's so cool.
I know, man. But come on, calm the fuck down.
Just give me Yagyu Jubei. I'm all about that guy. Ginger bend them. I need girls with eye patches.
I forgot he was even in this trial quest, so...
Jubei's dad, Yagi Munenori. Old man sitting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when I saw him, I was like, oh my god, that is a early fucking trigger pull there. Right. That's an early setup. That's gonna come back in Shimosa, by the way, guys.
As I said, that's what I'm hoping for, like, actual Yagi Jubei.
I'm honestly surprised they didn't introduce him by this point, but hey, you know,
saving him. The way they handle their like local legends is very weird sometimes. Like, I know a lot of people are kind of like confused about why Nasu and Co decided to interpret Raiko's mythology so specifically weirdly, and like various other things. Like, I personally, my thought was just, I bet Nasu's like heard these stories a million times and read all the different, because like you talk about Musashi. There's a fuck ton of movies and mangas and animes about Musashi and stuff.
He wrote books! My god!
Yeah, no, it's like, there's a lot of details, so obviously it would be like if we made just another Abraham Lincoln movie. No, you gotta do Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter movie, because otherwise it's not interesting and fresh. So that's my thought, but I just don't know. Burb is great, though.
Burb is great. We're gonna talk more about Burb. But still here today, Da Vinci Shop ads, Mona Lisa, Happy 3X Order, Skahawk, and the Arjuna Karno Trial Quest are in the RP shop. We had double the merch for the monthly shop. lucky bags for QP and FP. And we have daily EXP, half AP, and increased chance of super great suck.
Yeah, I would be almost smell protected on Quartz, but I'm gonna be feather blocked.
Yeah.
Fucking feathers.
I'm like, God, I am like...
It's because I missed
it's
because I missed the fucking Demon Pillar weekend. Which I guess we should talk about at some point when we talk about Solomon in a second, that I actually didn't get a lot of farming in RP.
Yeah. Well, that's good, because guess what? We are done with news, and we are in Chaldea Free Talk, which is going to be our first topic, is motherfucking Solomon.
Yeah, so we
man.
talked about it a little bit earlier. By the way, we're at about 50 minutes into the show. Or actually, we're at an hour, so hey, good job us.
Good job us.
Somebody asked me if this show was going to be long, and I'm like, I don't know. The notes aren't long, and I don't know if Voice is going to show up, but we're here. It happened. That's okay. It's great. Now I can actually... that's right, you wouldn't have heard this. I said that I was lamenting because you weren't going to be here at the time. I was lamenting that I couldn't title the episode 2018 in Review with Voice of St. Quartz, but now I can.
Now you can.
Chilling at its finest.
I know what I'm doing. I hope. So basically that weekend, after Barbatos died, I didn't get a lot of chance because I went to go see family for the holiday weekend. By the time I got back, we were through most of the pillars. I think there was only like the last 3 left, and that's because nobody could agree on which one to finish off. And then fucking Andromalius comes. Lucky you wrote this bullet point, but I think you speak for both of us.
Holy shit, why does a trash heap have 6 million lives? Like, that's where I was, because, I said, I think I probably did more farming than Omega, but as I said, I'm a filthy casual. I didn't go, like, balls to the wall.
Well, also, this was about the time that you started being sick, too, so...
Yeah.
We were both under the weather.
I went hard on Barbatos and fucking... I can't remember the one for, Babylonia, because names always fucking escape.
Gallstones!
Yeah, because I wanted gallstone. That's all I fucking wanted. I didn't get a fucking single gallstone. That kind of, just killed my soul a little bit inside. But... like, after that, I just didn't get points, and I was thinking that I don't actually remember if we actually mentioned this in the pregame, and even if I did, I probably won't remember anyway. But I can't remember, if they actually specifically said that the trash heap would have 6 million lives. So I went into it expecting, it's just gonna have another 2 million lives, and we're still fighting it, I think we fought it for, 3 days.
Yes, it took us a while.
And
some people were concerned we wouldn't make it, but we did. As soon as people started taking it seriously, once our AP started to regenerate, people were like, oh shit, let's actually do it.
As I said, did we talk about Korea? I forgot. I know it's only been, but Korea was doing Solomon at the same time as we were.
Yeah, we did. We did mention, because we talked about our record for Barbatos is number 2 in the world.
Yeah.
Yes, Korea was doing awful at this.
Yeah. And people were wondering, are they going to bring out bots? And, this is what I said. If they bring out bots or they don't, I really don't care. I just want this thing. I want this over. I want to get there. If we don't get there by 100%,
yeah, there was the Reddit was once again ablaze with the raids are fixed conspiracy. I think that was not Rashomon. I think we talked about it first in Onigashima. But we will reiterate our statement if you're new to the show. It doesn't fucking matter. If raids are a lie, it doesn't matter. Oh. What, are you upset that you don't get 1 extra run or 2 to farm the pillars or something? No, it's fine. But honestly, especially considering how fast we defeated Barbatos and stuff, no, most of this was our effort. We did most of the work ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
If we were helped a little bit along just by, the server having a standardized, click down mechanic, that's okay, whatever. They're trying to just keep things on schedule. They got a schedule to keep. And you guys shouldn't be mad, because then you have to fight Solomon/Goetia.
Yeah.
Which, like I said before, which I definitely said on air, is not a cakewalk.
It is not. So this note's mine, because you know me, I like to read into shit. But is it just me, or in the final confrontation with the King of Demons, Goetia, did the Master actually fight it himself? I like to think so.
Yes.
I like to think so, because I don't know about you guys, but I chose Lucky entering combat. And especially during that final scene, where Goetia's walking towards you after the fight him, it's there's attacks happening, and I'm pretty sure you literally punch him in the face, like you said you're going to.
Yes. Yeah, well, I mean, I believe you use command spells, so you have more mana.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that is something that I think is very, very awesome because, as I said, one of my main complaints about the game is that, like, yeah, you're kind of just a weak sauce master, but you're always in the back line. You're literally your servant's cheer squad.
This is the one time you actually get to, not out of all times, you punch the final boss in the face, and it's just so gratifying.
It really is. Like, this is like,
yeah, because well, I mean, I don't know about you, but obviously, I don't think this is even an option. Is it even an option whether or not you can pick to scream Gautia's name?
I don't know.
Or is that a forced pick? Anyway, it's one of those things where you can shout in all caps, and I was like, "Yes, this is my emotion right now. Yes, this is my mood.
This is my mood." As I said, this is like how you know this is 100% Nasu, like right here. And like I was like, it was so fucking satisfying.
Also, hey, not only did we get subs, they actually figured out how to arrange it so you can get subs for stuff.
Oh yeah, like that was another thing. They actually got the in-game subtitles going. Like I remember,
properly
like, they tried
framed and like on point, so you could actually understand what the fuck people were saying.
Yeah, I know. So like, good job, localization team.
Mm-hmm. Also, but yeah, so the we got in-game cutscenes basically, in-engine cutscenes. Yeah. Also, yes, I think Ayame's saying it right. They're asking, wasn't that when Ghitia killed Mash, and you could shout either Mash's name or Ghitia's? And like, I shouted his name. Mash's NP in Camelot, I think, was subbed a little bit after that came out, but I don't know if it was in the same format.
Yeah.
People have gone back and been able to see it for a while.
I went back and saw it, and I cried again. Speaking of crying, in like the 2 hours that it took me to get through the final bits, I cried during Mash's final scene, Roman's final scene, the orchestration of the opening thing during the battle. Oh my god!
Yeah, like, I think that's on the orchestra CD, and I hope it is, because damn.
Yeah. Oh my god. There's something about, like, I don't know, about going back to the beginning of something, like using the very first track, and like an orchestration version, like, oh my god, I'm like, oh god. Gautia's humanity is something I cried at, because, like I said, I'm a guy who, I like to empathize with villains. I really do. And for the longest time, I couldn't empathize with Gautia, because guess what? He wasn't fucking human, but in like that final moment, in that final moment, he, you know, after like he's lost all his power, all his strength, like for like probably the first time ever, he was someone who was able to actually understand humans and in turn be understood by them. Like that moment, it's all like, I'm not going to try and like defeat you for my schemes or whatever. I'm just going to try and defeat you for myself and to like, you know, try to defeat you for myself. I'm like, oh my god, that's amazing.
Yeah, in his final moment, he's literally dying, even though he thought he was immortal. But he's walking around in Solomon's corpse, basically. Ghitia is like, no, I understand now what Mash was talking about with this limited existence. I want to spend my literal last moments in this universe fighting you, because that's how I feel. And I'm like, okay. And it's not honestly it's not a pushover fight either.
No, it's not. It was an intense fucking fight, but it's one of those moments like I think this is a very Japanese thing of when enemies fight each other and, you know, come to understand each other through fighting. It's like, it really is. And I fucking loved it.
We must understand each other through our fists, but not with our words.
Yeah.
Well, and honestly, that's kind of the point, I think, is that by talking, you and Ghitia cannot understand each other. Because what you're fighting for is fundamentally different. He is fighting to, quote-unquote, save everybody by basically restarting the universe. I will make a better humanity who will not die. But you as one of the last living humans is like, no, fuck you, I want to live.
Yeah, I know. And, like, and Gautia, it blows his mind. It's all like, you're not doing this from this noble cause of trying to save anything. You just want to save yourself. And you're like, yeah.
Yeah, like, you are literally trying to kill me right now. And he's like, error, 404, answer not found.
You drive a hard bargain, Gautia.
And so it was just like that moment. I was like, oh my god. Now I was just talking about fucking. There's one thing I feel like was like they found especially with like Roman as the big reveal as the actual Solomon. I feel like they kind of like put a little bit too much front loading into that. It's like, oh yeah, you know this is gonna
telegraphed that a lot in the last couple chapters.
yeah, so I was like, I don't know how I felt about that. But it was still fucking emotional. Roman's like, yeah, I'm here now. I'm gonna take care of this. It's like, don't worry, I got you, bro.
He's like-
I'm like intense, like immensely sad because like Roman is like literally like the first person you meet. Like just about. You meet him in your bedroom while he's eating a fucking cake.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, this is the dude that like literally is gonna sacrifice his very existence to save everybody. And that's how you meet him. Him skimming off work, hiding in your room, eating cake. Like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Like, that's one of those moments is like when you first meet Roman, you will like, as I said, like I was saying, not something like fucking like without knowing any spoilers, like that's something you wouldn't ever expect out of the dude.
No.
You know?
It's why he's perfect.
He's fucking perfect. And like just the lengths he's goes, like I was fucking done. Like I'm fucking done. Like now I understand like a lot of this art I see of Roman. I'm like, ah.
Oh yeah,
I'm just
no.
gonna, like,
Guess what? Even like 2 years later in Japan, it still hurts them. They're still hurting.
like if I remember correctly, there's like in like some events, I think in like Taiwan and stuff, you know, where they actually have mock-ups, the mock-up of Solomon's Throw. People love leave fucking flowers
Yes.
and cake there
Yes.
for Roman. Like,
Yeah.
excuse me, this is emotional. Oh,
No,
God,
that is I think that's one of the fundamental, other than director Olga being immediately chumped out of the story. I think that Roman's sacrifice is the other enduring deep cut of the FGO fandom.
Especially when you realize that he might not even be in heaven, which is the Throne of Heroes, basically, because he erased himself from it.
Oh yeah, he gave up his gifts and he returned to God. All of my works are now complete. There is no reason to summon me because my work is done. And yeah,
oh God, it still gives me like I know this is kind of like a far-fetched idea. Like, I know a lot of people will probably give me shit for it, but there's one thing I really, really, really want now. I said, please don't laugh at me for this, but I want the Master to become a demi-servant using Solomon. Like,
That'd be
I
neat.
want this. It'd be super neat, and it makes sense.
I
And
also though personally I think they're just gonna cut out the middleman and based on data mines, Solomon's gonna be summonable at some point.
Yeah, I think like in a trailer somewhere, there's a video, there's a image of like a guy who looks like he's wearing Roman shoes and pants.
Oh no,
and a big
that's
cloak.
the actual Cosmos and the Lost Belt OP.
Yeah.
That-
The Lost Belt opening shows there's a mysterious cloaked figure that looks like he's wearing Dr. Roman's scrubs, which are like all burned up and stuff.
Yeah.
Also,
like,
and picking up one of his rings, I think is that in the actual Lost Belt OP or is that in Midnight Lost Room?
I don't
There's
know.
an animation project where somebody picks up one of Solomon's rings. The final shot of part 1 is here's the 10 rings sitting on the throne. Like there's some foreshadowing.
There's some foreshadowing, but I'll even say, even if someone's like, I'll also take Gotia.
Yeah, I was
as
about to
the,
say that's the other thing. It's either going to be Solomon is going to come back, or because Gotia died, he can now be summoned. He is recorded.
Whoa, that'd be trippy.
Yeah, I know. But like as I said, like you know, yesterday's fucking enemy is today's friend. Another's like super
Especially
Like-
considering how the plot of Lost Belt works with all this space shit.
yeah. So who knows? Like maybe Gotia.
Oh,
like,
by the
maybe
way,
Gotia,
this will come back up when they run the trailer for Lost Belt. But Gotia fucking laughs at us in the trailer for Lost Belt. He's like, "Ha ha ha, you fucked up now." And I'm like, "All right, asshole, you're dead.
Well, yeah,
Shut up."
because now it's humanity fucking up themselves.
Well, yeah, basically, it's a. I think having read the actual translated script of the end of part 1, I feel like it's a slight retcon, but there's definitely the implication that the reason why Gotia decided to cut it off now is because humanity is basically going to be trashed in the immediate future.
yeah.
Right.
Oh man,
That's why
let's see.
I've heard so much speculation that the ending to Lost Belt, with the final one, it will not be a happy ending. In fact, we might even fail. That's actually a lot of speculation I've been hearing. Especially
Yeah,
given,
I
like,
mean,
the
that
placement
definitely
and the
sounds like we're
prospects.
Nazis. He, at the very least, the interview says that he wants it to feel like it's a complete, a complete story that you feel like you can't, like that you're done. You've reached a level of completion, whether that's a horrible, well, we're all dead now completion or what, but I don't know.
Basically, he said it was like an ending where he's just like, we have no idea how to continue from here.
But don't worry, somebody's going to continue from here because they like money.
Of course.
I said because, like I said, like when I got through this, I ran like a bunch of fucking ideas through my head because, like I've told people, my fan canon is that the Master's origin is bonds, which is what allows him to connect with like all these servants. So I was playing around with this like really silly idea that at some point, like the main bad guy's like main thing is like to destroy the throne of heroes, so you can't stop getting help, and you basically like use like some like mystic power, like who knows, maybe you're like trying to get to the root or something.
Well, I've also heard another theory that Chaldea itself basically is going to become the throne because we're recording all the spirit origins anyway.
Yeah.
It's a bit like how in the extra universe the moon cell functions as a alternate throne because it copies all of history and stuff.
And basically the Master is gonna have to basically be the conduit because guess what? Like all these like things like go through him. Or her, excuse me. I always like see him because I use the male avatar. But it's just like one of those things of like there's like so many directions that this can go in, and I want them to happen because, like as I said, like for me in storytelling, I like big theatrics. Like I like really like big theatrics, like the whole like final fights and stuff. Like oh my god, that shit was all up my ant, all up in my like
yeah.
In my jam.
The scale of some of the stuff, like Gaetia's Noble Phantasm finish, like that's a big fucking scene. That's your fucking I'm swearing a lot. What's what you call it? Your shoot, I've completely forgotten. What's Sephiroth's ultimate attack where he destroys the solar system? Is it Supernova?
Oh.
No, the actual attack he uses in the boss fight where he like the animation destroys
right.
the solar system and crashes into you. Is that Supernova? I think that's Supernova.
I can't remember.
I don't remember.
I think it is.
Yeah, it is Supernova. Everybody in chat saying Supernova. But yeah, that's Gaetia's version of that, where the demon pillars, join up with the rings and they shoot a beam into space.
Yep.
And Mash tanks it because that's how that works.
Oh my god,
I love the
cried so
callback
hard.
to Lord Camelot, where it's like, this is a fortress of mine. So long as you're pure of heart and mind, it will not falter. It literally doesn't. The shield doesn't fall. Bash's body is destroyed by the heat, but the shield does not fail. You live.
Oh, I loved how they described Mash at the end there, where it's like yeah, the shield's invincible because she is pure, but she is simply human, and that is why she is able to die, but the shield doesn't.
Oh my god, the CE where she looks back at you and smiles, like I was done. I was fucking done. Like nope, I'm tearing up.
And then they have an individual CG for just the shield and like the embers, and you're like, oh.
Oh god,
It's so cruel.
Oh my god,
see that scene.
Yeah. And they don't let you use Mash for either of the final fights.
That killed me. I'm not gonna lie. It's like I cannot select. I was like, no. Ugh!
Just to sink it in, just to put salt on the wound.
Oh my god, they put deep. That's a real deep cut. But they have the scene, reach out your hand, and there's Mash at the end. You're like, oh my god. And then they get into fucking primate murder, which
they flash back to Foe. In the cosmos, he's like, "Sup, Mash? Hey, so I'm a terrible beast of calamity, but
yeah. By the way, I'm Beast 4.
Yeah, I'm Beast 4, by the way, and I should be a terrible murder machine, but because Merlin kicked me off my island, because he's a huge jerkbag, I've learned to love humans. Well, yeah, Foe lived in isolation. And was basically Merlin's roommate until Merlin was like, you need character development. Get the fuck out. Go out into the world.
And this is like one of the reasons why Foe fucking hates Merlin.
But he did get that character development, so he's like, alright, I'm going to give you all my saved up magical energy. Now, it's not my full-blown power, so I can only give you about as much life as a normal human lifespan, as opposed to my unlimited power. But, cool, have a life. You guys have defeated Beast 4 without a single blow. Which... thematically, I loved. That was just too. Where it's just like, oh wow, that's really interesting that they're like, on the one hand, you can have these big epic battles, but also you can defeat them without even need to fight.
And also, like as I said, like this opens makes me also consider because how many they said there's several beast classes. We're only up to 4 because
there's 7 of them, I believe.
Yeah, 7. So I think I think we've gone up to 4 because Kiara is one.
So
Solomon
she's part of one.
Yeah, well, here's the thing: there are said to be 7 beast numbers, but as Dallas Rose is saying in chat, some of them are split into halves. Beast 3 has been confirmed as having a right and left, and I believe it was also said in some other materials that 6 is supposed to have a right and left half.
6 did appear in prototype fragments
Yes.
of Blue and Silver as literally the beast.
Yeah,
of the number
6 is the beast of
666.
Revelation. And that's Arthur's big deal, is fighting him a lot. Because he's
So,
also supposed to
Arthur's
show
probably
back up
gonna
in,
show when that happens.
in regular prototype, so we'll see. And supposedly Beast 7 is like bad news. That's like, if we get all the way to 7, then humanity is done.
All right.
But we've got a few more to work through. And we'll see if they actually come up, because it's interesting that I feel like the way the current story is leading is not necessarily going in that direction, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of the enemies are a lot of the opposing forces in Lost Belts are non-human. Like, even in Lost Belt 3, the whole point is that the Emperor has basically made himself into something that is not human anymore.
Right.
And the human beings who live there also don't live like humans anymore. Hey, by the way, thematically note how the world of Lost Belt 3 Sin is a lot like Gautia's perfect world where people don't die and stuff
also
and they don't
in Lost
suffer.
Belt 3, it's funny enough revealed that totally not Tamamo, who is totally Tamamo, by the way, actually has, what's it called? It's like some particular type of manifestation that is exclusive to Beast Class, which the insinuation there is that this Tamamo is reaching a level that is equivalent to Beast Class, which could be a problem in the future.
Yeah,
that's why
that could come back as one.
That might be her dodgy aspect, where she was actually the great.
Well,
Fox
also
of Calamity.
it could just be Amaterasu, because I think it's in CCC when you speak to the golden white faced fox. She calls herself an evil of humanity.
That, and Tamamo even says in an interlude that she could have, with all 9 tails, the power of a beast class, essentially.
Yeah, she would. That would be her spirit origin. Would be so great. She would become an evil herself.
Right.
So yeah, that probably is going to come back.
I feel like
other than that, a lot of that, because the important thing about the beasts that Gaitia spells out is they come from humanity. They are born from humankind. And then it's and actually we'll talk about this a little bit later, but that's going to be a possible teach me topic later, is to talk about the beasts. But they are made, and actually I think it's Roman who spells this out, that they're made by a love of humanity, not a hatred of us. The reason why they turn against us is because they want to save us and help us so much. No, Tiamat still loves us. That's why Femme Fatale exists. She does not want to destroy us, but at the same time, we must, as a natural progression, move away. Tiamat's evil is called regression. It's wanting people not to change and hating them for changing anyway. So Tiamat's wish is basically for humans to stay in their infantile, childlike state and stick to their mommy, but we can't.
Yep,
everything has to be free at some point.
Still, give me alter ego Tiamat. I need her to sing at me at all times.
Well, I'm saying she is born from love for us.
Yeah.
The reason why she is a beast is entirely human related.
Yeah.
Which is a huge, I think, like I said, averseness to how a lot of the Lost Belt enemies function. Like the trees are all aliens and stuff like that. Right. Let's see. Oh, well, something I wanted to mention earlier, while we were still talking about stuff, was hey, remember how we said in the episode we recorded, because that's how long ago it was, that Jolter didn't show up?
Yeah.
But then she did for the last pillar. Which, like I said, made a lot more sense that she appeared in the event one.
Yeah.
Because that's when she became playable, right? That's when she was actually on our side.
Yeah. I don't know, but they had enemies in other ones, but she is a limited, can't get on them. So
her playable debut was in an event. So they're basically saying this is what you call it, the 7 counterfeits Jolter, not the cheap knockoff Jean Jolter from Orleans.
I'm not gonna lie, seeing all the event servants line up was kind of weird to me. I was just like,
well, yeah, they're not thematically attached, but
yeah,
they're still cool.
I did enjoy fucking Dante's entrance though, just maniacal laughter.
Well, right, because you're in a moment of despair. You're like, oh shit, there's no servants who are coming.
And he
And
just
then he's
arrives.
just
I'm like, oh god! Like if I had the money, I'd be throwing money to get Dantes, but I can't.
Yeah, he comes at a very unfortunate time.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a little bit, I think.
Yeah. So here's something that I did. Was basically during the end you were given the grade cause, and I was looking at it, I'm like, I have no idea what the fuck that is.
That's a Nasu thing.
It's a Nasu thing?
Yes, that is the lowest rank in the Mages Association.
Oh.
You are not once you are not a student, you are ranked a cause. And they have a lot of other weird ranks, and we'll see if we keep going ranking up. This would be like if we'd read the actual original Fate Stay Night, we'd know. When I think it's in Unlimited Blade Works, when he works as Rin's assistant, Shiro gets promoted to cause.
Oh, okay.
Or something like in one of the storylines he does. It's the lowest tier. You're basically the mage equivalent of a janitor, but it's still a rank in the Mages Association. Yeah, it's the true end. That's right. But yeah, so being ranked cause is the Mages Association is like, okay, you saved the world. I guess you're official now.
I think it's mostly because he's still not a very good mage.
Yes,
yeah, I know.
You're not good at being a mage, but they're like, all right, you saved the world on your own, so I guess it counts. You're exceptional or something.
Yeah. As I said, like, Master Strength isn't in the power he has, but the bonds he creates.
Mm-hmm.
Like, honestly, like, if he fucking, does become, like I said, like, my idea was, if, like, does become a demi-servant to, like, Solomon or Gautier or whatever, like, his Noble Phantasm should just be called a Grand Order.
Because the greatest magic of all is friendship.
It's true.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking of Mages Association, unless anyone has anything else they want to mention about fucking, Solomon.
Well, I'm trying to think. Was there anything else I wanted to talk about? Because you mentioned the battle. I did say, that I kind of cheeseballed him a little. At the real fight, I did Jelder Merlin Waver. With Herc in my back line.
Oh, I'm gonna give myself a pat on the back. I got through that entire ending fight and I didn't fucking use Merlin. What now, bitches?
Woo.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, well, I was like, done a clock with this guy. I'm like, okay, all right. You want to have a tussle, Gatia? Okay. I'm gonna do the dumbest meme setup I can, and I crushed him. I did end up having to use some seals to like heal people up, but nah, there was one run only. I know a lot of people spent a lot of apples. It only took me one try to like run it through, and like I said, he just kept spamming that multi-hit AoE, and I'm like, ooh, it's hatred time.
What I did, I guess that's his cheese, but the one where he fucking just AoEs at the beginning, and then I'm just gonna bow my 3 command seals, and like because after he fired that. He fired that first wad. Wasn't that much a big an issue.
The other thing that I did that was important that some people didn't have access to was I used the Lunar Sea Mystic code, which has buff cancel on it, and that really shut down that first turn wipe that he tries to do.
Oh, I never thought about that.
Yeah.
I just fucking I just went for the I just like, all right, I'm just gonna take this hit. I'll just revive and I'll just go from there. The fucking final fight with Gautier where he uses the 10 rigs, I fucking love that fight.
Oh yeah, no, that's great. That's a great fight.
It really was. Like, it was long, it was drawn out, it was intense, but it didn't feel too hard. It was like the exact right difficulty for what I wanted at that moment.
Yeah, and I love the progression of the rings where it's like
yeah.
And then it's and when he gets to 10, something's gonna happen, and then we talked about this, but 10's his death or glory move where it's like, all right, I'm gonna shoot my one shot,
and as long as you have someone left over, you fucking win. I'm like, yes, so good. Then good. You punch him then you punch him.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, as I said again, Lucky Master entering combat is like probably like my favorite line like ever.
Yeah, you've got nobody else to enter combat with, so it's just you. That reminded me. There was another thing I wanted to say. I really hope. I wonder if they will, but I really hope that the Babylonia anime ends with the final shot is the throne. As just like a, hey, there's the big finish. Because like as much as Babylonia's gonna have a lot of cool scenes in it, like it
If Babylonia doesn't have justice, I probably will rage quit right there.
That's true. But like I said, I want the final like post-credit shot to be just quote-unquote Solomon sits down on the throne, right? Like, as just like the ultimate teaser.
Yeah. Oh my god, like... Well, speaking about animations, Babylonia has been confirmed for a 2019 release. But also, shocking a lot of people is, like, during, like, the last week of December, UFA Table and a few other things, they were teasing a new production, which basically just showed Big Ben in London, and everyone's like, oh my god, what's it gonna be? A lot of people started saying, you know, Case Files, or, like, something else, and true enough, yeah, we got episode 0 of Case Files, starring, Lord Elmo II, aka Waver.
This is something I usually do with FGO, but FGO is New Year TV projects, and they were like, we released Case Files episode 0, and we're doing the Learning with Manga adaptation.
But with Case Files, they have also confirmed that it's going to get a release, a continuation of the series in July 2019, I believe.
Yeah, it's going to be in summer.
Yes.
Yeah, and they've said what arcs of the light novels they're adapting. Yeah. Which, by the way, are the pseudo FGO related ones because Olga Mary's in them.
Yeah,
which makes sense though because it's an FGO TV project, right?
Yeah,
right.
Oh yeah. Also, Case Files is being headed up by Troika as the main animation studio, which I'm okay with. They did 2 of their big titles was All Knows Zero and Recreators, which had very solid animation. UFA Table is listed in part of there, but I think that might just be more for character designs and whatnot.
Probably because obviously they did the original animation on Waver, right, when he was a kid.
Yeah. And they definitely had like
the episode 0 references several Fate Zero scenes.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest, having watched it myself during the time of the stream, I was like, this is totally up my alley. I love when we get to world build in Fate or any sort of Monsterverse lore. It's just
as I said, but like visually, Clock Tower has really never been explained,
right?
Like ever.
Everything just I love the dry color palette, how everything felt really lived in. I like the character interactions. They were very just kind of humble, like no one was super over the top or anything like that. I just kind of really dug everything. It was very atmospheric. I really liked it.
Yeah.
And they only use magic a little bit, and it's very like compared to like servants going at it, like UFO Table's usual stuff. It's very relaxed and like down to earth. Like
they were talking about
throws some
how
curse tags, and Svern, turns his arms and legs, and he gains doggo arms and legs. But other than that, it's a completely mundane car chase, which is neat.
Yeah. I love the scene though where Waver gets hit with the counter curse, and it's literally just him stepping on what looks like to be a bunch of fucking St. Quartz fragments, and it ruins his day. Like, it was amazing animation. Like, literally, he steps on one, he falls back, he falls on more, he jumps back forward again. It's like, oh my god. And Gray? I have no idea what's fucking up with Gray, but I fucking love her.
She's adorable.
Yeah, apparently she is part of the... I don't know if this is spoilers or not, I have no idea, but apparently she is a, deep descendant of Artoria?
Yeah, it's said that she is, for reasons she's said to be descendant, and obviously she's a little bit of a soft saber face. She's got, the kind of like, the hairstyle and the face shape, but yeah, she's said to be a distant relation somehow, which I don't think that's going to come up in the anime arcs they're doing so far, so we're not going to talk about that in detail.
Right.
I mean, somebody in the chat is saying it's a spoiler. It was the first thing I ever heard, so that's why I'm like, so much for being a spoiler. Because
people don't treat her relationship with Artoria as a spoiler. They treat why that relationship matters which is good.
Right.
But so I'm excited about that. Excited about Babylonia. The Learning with Manga animation, I'm still waiting for a sub, like a legit sub version.
Oh my god, the animation for that Rio bit, for all the Rio bits.
It was like I watched the animation, and I kind of got through it with my
photon ray makes police siren noises. It's the best.
They have the wiggle in the credits.
Yeah.
You can find gifs of that fucking everywhere now.
Mm-hmm.
Forever your catalyst.
Yeah.
As I said,
so beautifully animated, the best possible way to portray these jokes. Everything was so vivid. Everything flowed well. Like, they worked hard on this. And
Yeah, there are a
all
couple
these
scenes
voice
where they
actors
do like
doesn't
very
do
high
it.
level detail animation, and you're like, oh my god, they're actually trying.
Yeah, like this was something that that this was definitely a project of love.
And they brought in Chiwa Saito. They brought in Maya Sakamoto. They brought in Mamiko Noto. They brought in like all these big name voice actresses
to do their roles. And
Like honestly, I have this odd feeling that these voice actors and actresses actually love doing things like this, just getting to kick back with their characters and do something a little bit more entertaining. Because, I said, the VA industry in Japan is vastly different than it is over here. It's like people oh god, how do I want to explain this? It's like there's a lot of voice actors out there who have like figures and whatnot of the characters they do.
Right.
I always remember
I would say that compared to the US, where voice actors are heard but not seen, is basically how we treat a lot of our VAs. Like, those voices, you might go to a convention with them, but you don't recognize them by sight, right? They're not treated as the same level of celebrity as like a TV or movie actor. Voice actors in Japan are totally treated the same as like movie and TV actors, and sometimes are also movie and TV actors.
So a lot of the times they're fucking singers and release like hits, like fucking hits that hit like the Oricon charts.
Not to mention, Japan has this legacy thing they do where basically if you voiced a character, you are linked to that character for life. So anytime they need a voice for that character, even if it's a bit part, they will call you up and you will show up. Like, I don't know how they do it, but
Saber, have you gone to Saber's, I'm gonna someone say her name because I know I'm gonna fucking butcher it.
Ayaka Kawasumi.
Yeah, it was Ayaka Kawasumi. Have you seen her fucking page of how many times she's voiced Saber and for what? It is fucking huge.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny, you'd think it get tedious, but at least she acts like she loves it.
Right.
She wants to do voice more Saber so she can roll herself more.
Yeah, so it's like, as I said, like, voice actors is like so I completely understand, like, they got, like, approached, like, hey, you want to do this? And they're like, fuck yeah, I'm on board. It's like, it's great. I love it. Like, I can't, like, eventually we're probably gonna get an official translation from probably, like, Aniplex or whatnot, but, like, I said, like, I just gotta get some fan subs and watch it, because it's good. Like, my Sakamoto, like, trying to read from the fucking cue cards, it's like, oh my god, I was dying. It was fucking amazing. It's like, I really wish they'd, like, I wouldn't mind if they had actually turned it into, like, because anime has this thing where they have, like, literally, like, 5-minute shows that are just, like, tossed in somewhere. I wouldn't mind if they just...
I think it was in the stream, it was aired that way.
Yeah, whenever they would do basically what would have been a commercial break for the case files, it would be a Rio cartoon.
Oh, so that's what it was. Well, I wish, like, they just done that, like, over, like a season. It's just like, here, you have some Rio cartoons. I'm gonna be like,
well, who knows? Yeah. Maybe they will.
Maybe they will.
They've got a lot of comic strips to animate.
It was jarring as fuck, but at least the cartoons were entertaining.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a palate. It was a palate cleanser.
I suppose so.
Mm-hmm.
But as I said, we're gonna have a good year for Fate animations. Not to mention Fate we haven't really mentioned the Fate Requiem. Is it called the new is it a light novel?
Yeah, it's a light novel.
Yes, it was just released. The first volume, I believe, was just released.
Yeah, it was released at
It was Comiket, I think it was when it was released.
Oh my god!
But it is official.
Yeah. So as I said, we're gonna have more stuff to play. So expect I don't know. I'm kind of expecting like a Case Files collab to happen at some fucking point.
Oh, if they're gonna do an anime release, it certainly will happen sometime next year.
Yeah. And so who knows, like, with this Fate Requiem, because I don't know. Fate Requiem is still kind of up in the air from what I've read about it. It's like, so it's like, I don't know. It's like, kind of like alternate world, fantastical. Hey, everyone gets a serpent, booyah! And I'm like, I don't get it.
I really like a lot of the designs they showed off.
Yeah, I like the design.
Had alter.
Fucking Longinus, fucking dandy fuck.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, at the same, well, I mean, obviously, because we can't read it because it's in Moonspeak. It's to us, it's like it's super opaque though. The drawings are good.
Yeah.
All right. And one more thing about animation you wanted to talk about, Lucky?
Yeah, so, as with the new end of the year, the last episode of today's menu with Amiya Fan Mini has ended. All I can say is Blu-rays win. Give me that shit.
It's inevitable.
It's inevitable. I want it. I love
haven't
it.
caught up yet.
Like, honestly, like, today's menu with Anime Family has, like, been one of, like, the most healing things I look forward to, like, every month. And it's good. So eventually we're gonna have Blu-rays, and hopefully they'll be localized and probably just literally be on, like, one Blu-ray disc. But...
yeah, you're probably going to talk about it. Go ahead.
But I did do some checking around, and the official manga for it, which the anime was actually based on, is getting an English localization. It's being done by a new publishing company, Dempa. But I did some quick looking around, and they don't have a release date. But it could be like literally like any month now. So keep an eye out it, because as I like to say, if you like something, support it. The more you support it, the more it shows businesses that we want things, and we get more things like it over here.
That's why, as much as I hate the gacha, I support FGO.
Yep.
Yep. Because this is literally, we talked about this, I think, off mic before we started, but your wallets are being siphoned to literally generate this content. This is why Fate is on such a roll lately. It's because FGO is making it so popular and making so much money that they can just do whatever the fuck they like. Oh, I don't think the Case Files light novels are done, but they're like, oh, we can make Case Files anime. Who cares? We're making so much money.
That's also why it's important that Fate Grand Order stays alive, because it's literally the vessel that made Fate so popular once again in the first place. Like, made it part of the zeitgeist, made it so important in America now. Because before FGO was kind of still very underground.
Yeah.
So
because there were two things I think that revived it, and I should have to check on the timing. One of them was, well, I would say Unlimited Blade Works, but the Fate Zero anime helped because that like reintroduced a lot of people to it. Just out of personal preference, I like, and I've talked about this. We prefer Unlimited Blade Works, but yeah, like before that, it was just, have you read this visual novel that's tens of thousands of words, but only in Japanese, or did you watch this one anime adaptation from like 2006, which was okay? So it was very niche if you weren't a huge nerd like me. But
by the way, this also reminds me, apparently in Japan, in bookstores, for classical literatures, they're putting book sleeves with the FGO characters on them, so fucking, like, what characters came from what book. Because they have sleeves with, like, Vlad on them, like FGO Vlad, like Carmilla, Phantom of the Opera. I'm trying to think of
Frankenstein was another one.
Yeah,
Frankenstein was another one.
The problem is,
they're actually using like FGO, like they're putting that back out into
here it
common
is. Okay,
populace
I will pull up the image. So there's Phantom of the Opera, there's Sherlock Holmes, there's Fran, there's Carmilla, and there's Berserker Vlad. Are the three that are shown in the image?
For like Dracula.
The titles are all in Moonspeak, so I don't know, but I'm assuming that's. Oh, so you can definitely see that Frankenstein still has the English Frankenstein or the modern Prometheus. I believe the cover for Sherlock Holmes is A Study in Scarlet. I'm guessing that the Vlad one is Dracula. The Carmilla one is no doubt the actual novella Carmilla. And then Phantom of the Opera. And there's loads of these characters. You can do this on The Curious Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Like, there's so many things you could do.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing, because like this is something that I will definitely say that Fate has done for me. Seeing these characters in a game makes me want to go and understand these characters and their actual literature and life. Right. And so, like, for like business wise, like this is hella fucking smart.
Yeah.
And it's
a good business sense, but also FGO has always been really good about making me. Like we talked about this, how some of the Japanese characters are written weird. I would have no idea who some of these people are. Like, I wouldn't know anything about, other than watching anime, I wouldn't know anything about Minamoto no Yoshitsune. Like, other than I might recognize, I watched an anime once where they talked about that person. Just because, hey, guess what? I don't grow up hearing this history and folklore and stuff.
Yep.
It's, some of the Greek heroes are like that. They were, like, more obscure. And they've actually... FGO is interesting because a lot of the character designs are not necessarily by popularity. Yes, obviously, okay. King Arthur, hugely popular character. That's kind of a reason why she's a powerful servant, right? Because she's super well known. And it let Nasu put a twist. What if she was a girl? And you could fuck her. What? Visual novel say what? But, like, other than, I would say Fate Stay Night's original lineup, which is just, like, some of history's best known names. right? Like that's a freaking all-star lineup of servants in Fate Stay Night. A lot of times these characters are not necessarily like super popular. Like did either of you guys know about the Tamamo no Mai folktale before Extra? I guess technically
not really.
Not really.
No.
I like Fate was what made me fall in love with Tamamo.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna
honestly, through Fate, this has been a giant learning experience because I always liked history and such, and a lot of just socio-political things in general. But like, thanks to Fate, I've really delved a lot more into this stuff, and I really enjoy it for that. Because it's not even like a lot of the designs are like some of them are they can be kind of anime, but like just the fact that Nasu is at least clever with them makes me appreciate the characters that much more and thus appreciate where they're from.
Yeah, and I think some of that we've talked about before. Like we talked about a lot of this with like Bradamante. Like her design is from an artist who has a specific style. No duh, the artist is going to draw his style because that's why they paid that artist. But her actual characterization is super well researched and authentic to the original poems and stuff. Right. So it's they do the work. It's just sometimes the design elements get a little bit more stylized because they picked an artist for a style. Duh. It's like, why are some of Raita's designs weird? It's because they paid him to draw Raita, and sometimes he's holding back and sometimes he's not. Because I think it really honestly depends on how much you restrict him. If you don't tell him to stop...
I was just gonna say, you never expected him to be so good at drawing older men, though.
Yeah, no, like, and honestly, like, Archer Shinjuku is, like, it's elaborate in Raita's a certain way, but it's not, like, super exaggerated, but it's very stylized.
Right.
Itoki's pecs for days.
Yeah, he's super stylized, but people don't complain about him as much because of double standards. Huge dude abs and pecs are okay, but these boobs are not anatomically correct, and her limbs are too long. That makes me feel weird. No.
Oh yeah, people don't complain about Shuten either.
Well, some people complain about her original design because her proportions are a little weird, but then Caster Shuten came out and it was like, my god, Right is amazing. Also, yes, Shiny Pogs, that is correct. They said that Wad Arco makes everything hyperloop. Yes, Arco is a huge pervert.
Does she also she fucking loves tan lines? Have you seen like some of her tan line art?
There's that. She loves huge boobs.
Yeah.
I think she may or may not have certain things about underwear or the lack of it. Because there's a lot of designs which are drawn in certain ways. But in case you don't know, Wad Arco is the character artist for Extra series and responsible for the original arts of Tamamo, Nero, Liz, lots of other characters, and does all their in-game art. Gawain.
Although it's funny, I've heard a lot of people say that Wad Arco is technically a better artist than Takeuchi, who was the originator of the Fate Stay Night art and everything and designs.
Yeah. Well, that's because
I would be hard pressed to disagree.
I wouldn't say Takeuchi is lazy, but he definitely does. I don't know if he has like archetypes or templates, but you can tell a lot of his like poses are very similar. A lot of he has the same face problem. Like a lot of his characters look generically alike. When you put them in motion and stuff, they don't look that similar, but this is why we have the quote-unquote Saberface problem, because his art style gets a little samey.
Whereas if you look at the Wad Arco material books, where she basically draws like every single character in FGO, no pose is the same, every character looks unique and different and alive.
By the way, she released FGO Memo 3 at the Comcat, so hoping for scans.
Oh my god, 95. I'm like, Comic Cat 95. This was something I tweeted. It's like, Comic Cat 95 is happening. I'm stuck across the fucking ocean. It's like, god fucking damn it.
It is amazing how much my Twitter has been blowing up with art of all kinds.
Yeah.
Oh, well, my favorite is, speaking of Raita just a second ago, did you see how he drew, like, Scotty and certain other characters in his books?
Yes.
That he was selling at Comic Cat? It's like, I tweeted, I was like, no woman with boobs is safe from Raita.
No.
Always, every single one of them, if they got boobs, he makes them huge. It's not just Raiko. It's every one of them.
He likes the titty.
He likes the titty.
And like I said, that's why I said, like, if you don't stop him, he's gonna draw some shit. And I am sure that the FGO were like, no, fuck, go crazy. Are you kidding? We're literally trying to sell this character. Go for it. He also, like, he drew Gorgon in one, and, like, her giant, like, super giant form, which is interesting.
Oh, yeah, he even did, like, Kato Danzo, and even her boobs were huge.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking at the Kato Danzo one. Right. I said, Raito has a boner for two things: big boobs and machines.
Yeah.
Mm. Well, yeah, I've talked about it with like certain artists. You see their themes. Like this is totally off topic, but you guys may have heard of him because he's done some like mythological drawings. But there's an artist called Genzo Man, or just Genzo. He did a lot of art. Well, he did a brief period of art for the Legend of the Five Rings card game. Which people who are actually thematically attached to the setting are like, this art's completely off. But if you follow it, you're like, you can see, okay, here's what Genzo Man likes. He likes long hair, he likes cleavage, and he likes legs. And the art will always incorporate some of these things. Bare shoulders, cleavage, some thighs, long hair in a hairstyle. That's what he likes. Like, artists are like that. They have themes.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, like, if you've never seen Watariko's FGO memo books, look them up. She does a lot of adorable art of lots of different characters in her unique style.
I was like, this is again something I want, is I want, like art books and doujins to be more readily accessible and over here. Like, I don't even need them translated, just let me get them.
Yeah, dear print-on-demand universe, get better.
Like, I discovered that Amazon Japan ships some shit internationally, but not everything. So I was like I'm literally digging through it, like, because they sell artists sell doujins. I found this from Pochi Ida that she sells her stuff on Amazon Japan. Unfortunately, they don't ship internationally. So I was like, heck.
But my God, if they just did everything print on demand, that'd be great.
Yeah.
See, I'm both happy and sad that Raita's fan book sold out within just one whole day of Comiket. Mm-hmm. Because I'm happy because that means people do also like Raita. It's not just me. And at the same time, I'm sad because that means all the copies that he made have been sold, which means there's probably no copies on the internet for it.
Who knows? They might do.
Well, maybe. I don't. Unless there was like a one per customer mark. There's always one generous soul who's like, all right, I'm buying two. Once for me to do something horrible to this book and turn it onto the internet. Because in case you don't know, scanning books is very violent.
Yes,
you have to break the binding.
Goodbye.
Yeah, that's why I want physical copies of books, like even doujins, because there's just some artists like I just want to support, like Pochi Ida or Wada Arco.
Oh yeah, no, like if I could buy Arco's books, like you said, not even translated, just physically here, I totally would. I love art books.
Yeah. And that's one of those things that I don't even remember the original topic we were on.
We were talking about animation, and then we got off into art styles.
Oh yeah.
I was like, sorry. So we'll try to wrap this up. But like that's something I want. Like I want next time FGO's at like a con or someone, I need someone to go up there and ask them progress on localizing or at least bringing over art books, whether they're official or unofficial.
Oh, yeah. Materials is. We talked about some material sketches. Materials are a great font of knowledge and just art design. Mm-hmm. Like, I talked about this, like, everybody talks about, like, Raiko's exaggerated proportions. Her concept arts in, mats are not about that at all. They are all just, like, detail sketches of, like, her different weapons and her armor flourishes and stuff. And, like, the actual body is just kind of a skeletal sketch in the background, just a generic purple shade. And it's, like, it's very interesting to see what the artists focus on in, like, these concept arts. Like, Ishtar's art is a lot of, like, the mechanics of her bow and stuff. And we spoke about Tiamat earlier,
but they get distracted by, like, the more, like, promiscuous features of certain characters and don't realize how much effort was actually put into the overall design of a character.
Oh, yeah.
like Raiko, like some people are like, all I notice is big titties, and it's like, look at all the other parts of her though. Jesus
Do you see this
Christ.
armor? Jesus fucking Christ!
Well, also her NP weapons only exist in her NP animation, but like I said, in the mats, those are all have full blown art sketches, even though you don't see them in any of the sprites or any of the story sprites. They're just in the animations. Like those all had detailed designs that the artist designed, right? Like there's the effort is put there.
Yeah, in that interview, actually, I'm thinking is saying it's like the character designs take months to get through and finalize, and there is a lot of work being done into them.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I said. I want art books, and the only thing is, a lot of the times is, when artists release, art books, FGO Memo and art illustrations are considered, unofficial, art books, to specifically, distance them from the licensing and branding of the characterization. So, if they're to be brought over, it'd have to be in their own capacity, and then they start running into fucking, North America's,
Yeah. There would have to be, royalties and other concerns.
Yeah. But, it's still something I very much want.
Alright, so, we're intended to have 2 more topics, I think, today. And then a little bit of outro.
Yeah, okay, I'm done talking.
Alright, that's
Sorry,
good,
we were having
because
fun.
now I'm going to talk for a while.
Yep.
Because let's talk about Benny Enma. Also, some people phrased it as Kurenai Enma, because that you can say the word for crimson either way. She is also the tongue-cut sparrow, and lots of other things. But, hey, it's time for another limited ST Saber. Thanks, Delightworks. So, Benny Enma has the same attack as Bride, but noticeably SHP. However, her kit makes up for her slightly poor stat spread. So she's got a standard Saber type, quick Arts, Buster deck. The Arts and Buster cards are pretty normal, but she's got a 6-hit quick card, which is phenomenal. This leads to some pretty good generation stats. You'll get a very decent NP charge out of an AAQ or an AQA. Also, personally, my assumption is that her large amount of passives is why her stat total is lowered. So, here's what you would normally expect on a Saber. Magic Resistance A, which she has. And then she also has Independent Action A for Crit Plus, and Presence Concealment A for Starter Up. And then she has Increation for a 10% Arts boost. And also has a unique immunity to Skill Seal, because Benny Enma doesn't have a tongue, so she communicates via ventriloquism. That's why you hear this occasional, chirping onomatopoeia. That's the sound of her ventriloquizing. So yeah, she's got a shitload of passives, which make her good at crits. So then her regular active skills are pretty good. She's got the classic Eye of the Mind Fake, Evade, and Crit Plus. Then she's got her 2 unique-ish ones. The first is Basket of Stars Large, which is a 6-turn cooldown, which NP seals the entire enemy team, and reduces their defense and crit, defense by up to 20% and crit chance by up to 30%, at the cost of healing them a minimal 1k HP. You want to talk about demerits that don't matter? Well, Consort U is crying right now, because her demerit is awful compared to these demerits. But hey, speaking of that demerit, Basket of Stars Small is like Dreamlight Charisma, but more. Though it still has a 6-turn cooldown, so it's not quite the same. But it's 20% attack, 20% NP gauge, and up to 100% buff removal resist. Hey, remember how we talked about Consort U? She has a new friend.
We can make Consort U good. It can happen.
Yeah, we're gonna try. We're gonna try until eventually she gets that NP interlude. Listen, they did it to both John and Tomo Cat, where their demerits sucked a lot, and eventually they undid them, so I'm sure they will eventually do it for Consort U. Eventually. And also, Basket of Stars Small heals both teams for 1k HP. So basically, her skill set makes her a great support unit in arts teams. She can charge NP, she can give you attack, her own arts cards are enhanced, she can stall out enemies, which is a very common arts trick, and softens them up. And then she can do damage, because in case you forgot, she's a single target Saber with an Arts NP, which has quite a few hits. And her special trick is she gets an overcharge-based damage boost versus Chaotic and versus Evil, separately. That starts at 40% at 100% overcharge, and is additive, so it becomes 80% for Chaotic Evil.
Jesus Christ.
So Liz's everywhere tremble. Also Kyo's, and yeah, there are quite a lot of chaotic evil lancers and berserkers who are just stone cold fucked by this.
There's actually a surprising lot of chaotic evil servants.
Yes, it's shocking. And then remember, she still gets 40% on if they're just chaotic or just evil. So she has a huge strike zone. So that's a very solid slice of trait damage. Basically, she's a great addition to the game overall. To make her click like some other classics, you probably want to support her with like a Tammo or a Landling. Prince of Landling would make good sense because he is also a saber. But yeah, no, she's great because she does team stuff. She can do her own arts crits, and also she brings the pain. She's a great package deal. If anything, the only thing she lacks is that she's not necessarily selfish enough on her own, because she's just like, low end team level buffs, or she has an evade and a self crit plus. But still, like I said, pair her with Tammo, especially the new enhanced Tammo, you're gonna clean up. Voice, you do gameplay analysis videos. What are your thoughts on Benny Enma?
Oh, I think she's really, really honking good. My only problem is that she's yet another single target saber, and I mean, the game is not shy at handing over sabers in general.
True. But most of the 5-star ones are limited, so who knows if you've had an opportunity to get one.
If you don't have one, this is a great one to get.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because her animations are amazing.
Yeah, she's great.
Lucky's official stance on this is it's a cute bird lolly. That's all I need and all I want.
Burb. 1 burb, 2 burb, red burb, blue burb.
Like, honestly, all I want is just art of Benny Enma and Kirky being burped together. That's all I want right now.
And they both cook. It would be great. There's a great comic of what you call it, Kirky and Benny Enma somewhere. I'll have to find it on like Reddit or something. I bet I retweeted it. But it's adorable where like the Master and Benny Enma are hanging out and like petting birds, and Kirky is surrounded by sparrows, and she's like, she pauses for a second, and she's like, "No, get away, sparrows! I wasn't thinking about how adorable that is. Away from me."
Oh yeah, and then like petting, and then she just goes chirp, and she was like, "Oh god, I know the one you're talking about." To me,
yeah, it's a great one.
But as I said, no, like with Benny Enma, now I'm literally just a step away from potentially having an all lolly fucking setup, and it is glorious. All I need is Writer Da Vinci. And it'll be complete. Because we have Benny Enma for Saber, we have Kuro or Urale for Archer, we have Medusa or Santa John, I'm gonna butcher it, for Lancer. For Rider, it would have to be Writer Da Vinci, so there's no way, they don't have anything else. For Assassins, they have fucking Jack, they have Jack. I don't count, Shuten, because Shuten is not like doesn't have like a childlike mind, I would say. She's very much the Ludes. Benny Enma is still kind of cute, adorable. Shuten is not cute, adorable. Other side of that spectrum, good sirs. Caster, we have Ilya and Nursery Rhyme.
And
Berserker, we have I guess. And for Berserker, we have Cha-Cha. And for extras, we have Abigail.
By the way, Cha-Cha soon.
Cha-Cha very soon. And for extra, we have Abigail. So I'm like, yes. Now I'll just like throw like one of the extras I have in my all slot. Just all lollies. That's all you're getting out of Lucky.
My god.
He's a dedicated man.
I was like,
This is the personification of someone who truly believes jail is just a room.
Ageness is number, jail is just a room.
Mm-hmm. I live unashamed, people.
Alright. So here's, I think, our big one, as we're at about 2 hours. It probably won't be that big, we'll see. But I wanted to just kind of quickly run down all the events that are coming in the new year. Because, part 1 is done. They've already given us the trailer for Epic of Remnant. Just to let us know, by the way, there's more coming. Don't quit the game yet. Because you might feel like it's not, because the first month is look forward to Moon Festival and Prison Tower reruns starting this month. Also the King Hassan banner. But we're gonna, figure we'll just kind of run down the schedule and I'll talk about notable stuff. We were like 2 weeks ahead. I don't know if that counts anymore though, because of how Solomon worked out. So we may or may not be on the exact same time scale as JP was, other than our anniversary needs to move. But yeah, as mentioned, January, look forward to the King Hassan banner, which will be maybe nothing else. Or maybe it'll be Training Grounds. I think it'll be Training Grounds half AP. That's right. For mats, not EXPs. And then, yes, Moon Festival and Prison Tower will be rerun. In February, we can expect our equivalent of 8 million downloads. Da Vinci's coming back. Everybody buckle in because they're rerunning Chocolate Lady's Commotion, the Valentine's event.
Ooh.
There's a lot of chocolates to get. And return gifts now. And there will also be the Valentine's 2017 Summoning Campaign with new CEs and MHXA.
Woo!
And then at the tail end of February, the Shinjuku chapter release will happen. So that'll be fun. We don't have to wait too long for more story, just a little bit longer. And then that'll have 2 parts to the campaign, by the way, though the second isn't anybody new. Actually, wait, no, it is new, because Emiya Alter's new for that, right? That's right. It's a very, compared to the fact that there's a limited 5-star, the Part 2 campaign is very sad, because it's just 2 4-stars. Kaldea Boys Collection will have both a rerun and a new one. So there'll be, which will be Arthur. We're gonna rerun Guda Guda Hanoji. That'll be good. Everybody can get Nobu if you don't have her. There's also, should be our 600th day coming up in there somewhere. Actually, we'll be a little bit before that because we started earlier. And there will be
My biggest thing about the Hanoji rerun is I'm going to record sound bites of all the Nobu noises so I can play them at my leisure.
Perfect.
Yes, make sure you get Nobu, by the way, in case you didn't get the opportunity before. Because, remember, that event happened very early on in the game's creation. So, like, if you didn't get Nobu now, in this upcoming event, then you will not get another chance.
Yes, and until JP reveals whatever their system is going to be, because I'm sure they will eventually, because they're growing all the time, whatever their system in the future will be to replace welfares that you've missed, this is it.
Yeah. And even if they do make a system, it won't be for a long time. Nobu's a really good unit, so...
Yes, she is one of the few early welfares that is just all around solid. And then in April, assuming nothing moves around, obviously we'll have our April Fool's event, which is FGO Go. That's right, it's Fate Go Go. But there'll be a release for that. Also, the Guda Guda sequel, Meiji Ishijin, where we talked about Cha-Cha.
Cha-Cha.
Also, Hijikata will be coming.
And
that'll be a big one for...
Shinsen Gumida!
Yes, the Angry Man. Angry Man yells at Shinsengumi. That'll be there. Let's see, that's right. That's April. That's actually pretty sparse. It's mostly just Guda Guda, and then the pre-release campaign to Extra CCC collab, which will have Bride and some other raid-ups in it. Guys, I'm gonna be honest. Unless you spend a lot of money, there'll be Memories of the Far Side. There'll be a new Mystic Code. That'll be cool. But yes, unless you spend a lot of money on the game. And you really need Gilgamesh or Bride, that's bait. Don't do it. Because in May, we get the actual Cyberbrain Paradise Seraph event, which has 2 banners. The first of which is the estimable Melt and Passion Lip, and also Suzuka Gozen, who's not limited, but she's on raid up, so that's cool. And then in Japan, everybody was super gotcha'd because there was a second part to that campaign, which was Kiara as the limited SSR. So, everybody, watch the fuck out for those banners.
As soon as we get done with MHX Alter, I'm probably just going to be saving for this banner. Whatever I can.
Then we'll get the 9 million downloads campaign, which will be an Ishtar rerun, which I don't have to worry about, thank God. That'll also come with more rank-up quests. That'll be rank-up quest 6. And we'll get the Demonic Capital Rashomon rerun, so you can get another chance at your Shuten Doji. And if you didn't max out your Gold Carp, you can get those. That's May. And then, June, there'll be a Shinjuku Summoning banner back again, and a half AP campaign. Because, hey, guess what? At the end of that month, Agartha's coming back. Yes, there's a big gap. It's from February to June, probably. Even if we're still a couple weeks ahead, it'll still be until June before Agartha is released. But there's also the Onigashima Riman, which is also super important because Writer Kentucky is super good. So, yeah, especially with the way Thanksgiving worked for us, I feel like we're in NA are not hurting for Reiko or Shuten Doji rate-ups, but they're coming back. And like I said, much like Nobu, once Onigashima is rerun, Writer Kentucky's not coming back, and he's great. Like, he was the archetypal quick unit for years. And we probably won't be doing the commemoration of Fate Apocrypha or FGO the Stage, because those already happened.
Well, unless they get, like, an English release or some sort. I don't know.
We'll see. In July, there is the... well, first of all, the front end of July will, for us, be our anniversary. Carried over, I'm sure. But that will be the Kaldea Summer Memory Rerun, which I will be desperately saving for, because, well, rip me. And that'll be in there, but also there'll be the anniversary. The anniversary is a big deal because, well, there's a paid banner in there. There's also well, yeah, so there's a lucky summoning bag, which is a lot of 5 stars. Is it just limiteds? I think it is just the limiteds, too. I don't see any regulars in there. So that's an okay pool. There's going to be the order-based summoning campaign, which involves a lot of previous servants from certain stories, including the Epic of Remnants. But also, Da Vinci will be back, and Sherlock Holmes will appear. That'll be a big deal. Sherlock's a cool dude who you want to roll for. Also, I believe concurrent with that will be all the Statesmen, the Learning with Manga tie-in event, which has Paul Bunyan, the welfare 1-star berserker. We will also be, after that, in August, be getting Dead Heat Summer Race.
Oh boy.
So that'll be a big deal, those couple of banners. And there'll be a 3rd class-based summoning campaign. September's going to be real fun. That'll be Nero Festival Redux 2017 Autumn. So that's where you can get Nero's costume dress, assuming you have a Nero. Cries. That's the...
super important.
Yeah, that's the Bryn and Bride rate-up.
Yeah. I like that Bryn and Bride rate-up. But yeah, Bryn hasn't had a release in like a year and a half by that time.
Yes,
yeah.
That is correct. Unless they do something different, which they probably... The point to do something different would have been Thanksgiving, so yeah, I think we're not getting another Bryn rate-up until that Nero Fest. So that'll be a big deal. I don't know what they're going to do with the Kiyomaf commemoration exhibit commemoration campaign, because that's a very Japanese thing. But theoretically, in that same month, there should be a Okita and Hijikata rate-up, along with some other Japanese servants. Also, September is the famed 10 million downloads, where we get a free 4-star and Merlin comes back. This is the only other time Merlin has been available, other than those like limited-only paid pools. He has not come back at all after this. So, you know that if you missed him and you really want him, this is your last chance for like 2 years. That's also going to be Super Ghouls and Pumpkins rerun, if you didn't get your Brave Liz. And then in the actual October, there is both the Shimosa release, where Musashi will come back, and also some other new servants, and the Devil's Building Climber, so you can roll for Osakabe Hime and get your free alter egos. Just in time, because in November, there's going to be the rerun of Christmas. There's going to be the 11 million downloads for King of Sun coming back. Oh, yeah, and there's going to be the Salem release campaign with Abigail.
Abigail!
And you're really going to want to make sure you got that free alter ego. And actually, Abigail's not even in the... She's on the front page, but she's not even in the first banner. The first banner's just Kirki and Nezha.
Yep.
So I don't think she actually rolls out until the second part of the campaign. Then we get Merry Christmas from the Underworld, which everybody save all your quartz for, because that's a Rush's rate up.
It's back to back. Yay.
And Oh, and then at the end of the year, we'll get our Part 2 prologue campaign, which doesn't have any servants or anything. It's just we get to actually play.
It's just really sad.
Yes, you get to play the Part 2 story intro, which is super depressing. And that's your upcoming 2019. That was 2017 in the JP schedule. And expect some of that to get moved around. There were a couple, like, this is when FGO The Stage was happening, when Apocrypha was happening. So some of those we've already cashed in on. Some of them don't expect them to come back, but maybe, like, if there's, like, a Blu-ray release of Apocrypha in English, they might do some of that tie-in for, like, CEs and stuff. But other than that, and yes, this year is pretty heavy in reruns, especially at the start of the year. Like, they do decent Shinjuku's, like, pretty right away, right? Like, it'll be next month. After that, there's a bit of a drought for, like, 3 months before New Story, where there's minimal new events. I think there's only 2 in, like, 3 months that are actually new.
Yeah. It's definitely a time to just kind of cool down after Solomon. I think we need it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, they start you continuing the story early enough that you're not, like, freaked out or anything, but they give you plenty of time to relax, do your events. And honestly, I've talked about this before, but the CCC collab is basically like a limited time story event. Like, it's actually tied into the main story, but it's also a collab, so it's very interesting. But yeah, there are a lot of rate-ups that are returning, and there's a decent slice of new ones. And like I said, some of these guys won't be coming back easily. Like, if you want to get another shot at Merlin, later this year, there's not another one for like 2 years from now, at least. Possibly 2 years from then. Let me double check. Same for King Hassan. There's this summoning campaign that's about to start, and then there's the 11 million downloads, whatever that's called, and then he hasn't had a new one in, a year and a half or whatever. I guess, yeah. Something like that, because it's now 2019, and this was all in 2017, so it's a year to 2 years gap between some of these guys. Also, yes, as Zero Run has pointed out in our chat, Epic of Remnants are not easy. You get a lot of time to do your work on them, because they're optional. Like, to start part 2, you don't have to beat them.
Oh.
But
it's a lot of St. Quartz, so
yeah, it's a lot of quartz.
Why not?
But it's not going to be necessarily easy. This is where they really start stretching their legs for difficult content, and new mechanics. Break bars are introduced, which we'll talk about when that actually happens more in detail. But there's a little bit of a counter to the high-level burst damage Merlin meta, which is interesting because thinking about it, that only gets to exist for like a couple months before it's like, okay, let's counteract that a little bit. But enjoy blowing the hell out of those really hard Dante's quests, though.
Enjoy while you can.
Yeah. And there are a lot of gameplay gimmicks, like Shimosa is infamous because you are forced to play Musashi support in your front line. You can't even put her in your back, so that's like a real complex thing. And lots of other stuff. Honestly, from what I understand, Salem is the most forgiving in that respect because they give you the tool you need to counter it free earlier.
Oh, and some of the Agartha boss battles. Oh my goodness, I remember hearing about them. And then when I got to do it myself, I'm just like, yeah, this is really hard.
Yeah. Also, since like we said, it's like a hybrid, it's like part story, the CCC event is also hard as balls. And you're gonna want to put in that work, though, because that's how you get BB, who not only is BB, but also is, like, one of 2 moon cancers in the game currently.
Yeah, she's super rare, and the event never gets a rerun, and might never get a rerun, just because it's actually linked to the story.
Yeah, I don't... I mean, like, we're coming up on the point where maybe it would be a rerun. Like, after... I'm expecting after the Sparrow Inn ends, we're gonna get the Prisma rerun.
You know what? Yeah, that might happen, because especially if Lost Belt 4, like, the speculation insists might actually have to do with the Moon Cell, this would be a good time.
So yeah, there's definitely, like, there's a Prisma rerun, and then I think, CCC would be the next collab, so it's on the rerun schedule. It just takes a long fucking time.
Mm-hmm.
Also, yes, as also pointed out, there's some adventure bosses, and boy howdy, you're really gonna want that class advantage. Which, I think Lucky and I, we've both talked about this. Maybe not on mic before, but we've talked about how it's kind of annoying the way they set up Moon Cancer in that triangle.
Oh yeah.
But also made her like a super limited unit. Because for the longest time, people were going, there's no way there can be another Moon Cancer. It just can't happen. And then they did another Moon Cancer, but it was just BB again.
Yeah. That's why I'm like, ha! And you all
Uh,
thought, well, maybe it'll be Hakuno or some form of Kiara. I mean, the only form of Kiara we got was one of the extra boss fights, but yeah, it's just BB again. Ha!
Surprise!
I mean, this is what I said. I said that my favorite theory about ruler cats was that there's going to be moon cell mobs or bosses in Lost Belt 4 because there is a thing which is supposed to be akin to the moon cell automaton in that Lost Belt. So I'm like, oh, you could do it because you can't say BB's the only Moon Cancer in alternate timelines. I've got you now. Not that I believe that anyway, because I one of my media tweets is literally me screenshotting a line in Extella where they talk about the Velber multiplying like a cancer. Those words are literally used.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't necessarily buy in that it's BB exclusive in that sense either. People take Moon Cancer way too literally, considering Archer or Lancer or Rider.
Remember,
Assassin?
Avenger was originally supposed to be one fucking person, too.
Yeah. Avenger was Angramanyu's unique special thing.
Yep.
And then
Remember
it wasn't.
when rulers was supposed to be saints?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, for a long while they were.
Yeah,
Like, it's not until Sherlock
Jean,
because
Amakusa, Martha.
Martha's a saint. Amakusa is an apocryphal saint. He's not recognized by the Catholic Church, but he's considered to be a saint in Japan, in Japanese Christianity.
But see, what about Sherlock? What about...
Yeah, no, I'm saying.
That's what I was
it's like,
saying.
yeah,
Until Sherlock is released as a ruler, it was stuck. Ketz is definitely, but Ketz is also a Santa, so it's well, I mean, you could say Saint Nick, right? Like you could make an argument. Sherlock's the real outlier, but that was also that was a thing they did very deliberately because they introduced Sherlock as a caster in story, and then it's like, and now he's a ruler because the world said so.
Right.
We're like, okay.
Okay, he's really cool. But yeah, no, like once you get to Emperor Mothman, it's like, all right, all bets are off. There's definitely now you're just making shit up.
He's ruler because he's really strong. That's why.
Right.
Well,
Okay.
I mean, the idea is that one of the requirements for ruler is that they're supposed to be without a wish for the Grail, which, yes, he has no need for an omnipotent wish granting device because his wish was already granted.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then that again applies to other things. Like Tamamo Cat doesn't have a wish for the Grail. She just thinks it's a fancy fucking dish.
Right.
You
Tamamo
know.
Cat ruler confirmed? Maybe?
Yeah.
I don't know, so it's weird. But as I said, Fate is one of the rules of Fate is there's always exceptions to the rules.
Yeah.
So
Like I said, I both in the way that they phrase it when talking about other units, and just because this is Fate, they won't keep it that strict. There's going to be other Moon Cancers. I just think they're waiting for the right time to introduce them because it is true that that's not something you can just throw out there. Like, it has to have a very specific reasoning. But it would be very interesting if they did, in fact, give you a welfare ruler just before they introduced more Moon Cancer mobs.
Like, they do actually explain at least why Sherlock is a ruler. It's because now he's bound by the Grail, so he can't basically explore the reaches of the universe that he shouldn't be allowed in.
Because he'd be solving
Something
mysteries.
Like to that extent. Yeah.
But alright, so that's we're at almost 2.5 hours, and that was our hopefully your broad level forecast for the upcoming year. Some banners you need to watch out for.
Mhm.
We've also done, obviously, what we're expecting this month, which is King Hassan, Half AP Training Grounds, Moon Festival, and Prison Tower reruns.
rip your wallet.
Maybe rip your wallet, but at least your gameplay can relax.
Mm-hmm.
Remember,
So, yeah.
though, you don't technically need any of these people. So if you don't get somebody, don't quit because you're like, oh, I didn't get Merlin or I didn't get King of Saw, and that means I suck now. It's like, no.
Yes, that's true.
Man, no. I've actually been getting some messages, of course, that a lot of people are like quitting the game now from like post Merlin and stuff. I'm like, oh god, why?
No,
It's Jalter
don't.
all over again. I
Yeah.
must suck because I don't have Jalter. It's like,
Don't.
absolutely not.
Listen, just because Omega's high-level autopilot casual has Merlin Jalter waiver. By the way, both Merlin and Jalter were FTP, and waiver was on a GSSR. So it's not like I tried very hard. It just, fate happened. Just because I can cruise control doesn't mean you have to. And honestly, like we said, the game's going to introduce some elements which prevent you from cruise controlling anyway. So
Right. In fact, it's not even like, if you have certain combos of servants, it's not even like the game is like, oh, but it's too hard now or something. It's like, no, it'd probably be similarly hard. It's just that Merlin and other characters can make it easier.
yes.
Yeah.
Because honestly, yeah, the
But
game's
sometimes
not
it's
super
so
hard
easy.
most of the time. That usually means when it does actually get hard, it is uniquely hard.
Right.
Though, hey, you always get your revenge because Rashomon's coming back, and
yeah.
this time it's a very different server. Actually, I'd have to check. Was the first Rashomon pre-Jolter release? I don't think it was. All right, now I gotta go back in time. Go back in time. It's March. So no, okay. So Jolter was April, and Rashomon was May. So it was after, but this wasn't when people necessarily had their like refined support setups and stuff. So
Right.
yeah, now you can use your friend's Merlin to completely cheeseball this event, whereas in the past, my setup was other than Jolter Super Budget, it was Leonidas Hans Jolter. Carried me through Rashomon.
That works.
It still works, by the way, too, if you're trying to be budget. You just need, you could replace, because Ibaraki is a berserker, the class advantage really doesn't matter. You could replace her with any big hitter. Were you like Zero Ranma, who rolled 2 Musashis, and I said in my Discord, you stole my Musashi? Because he got 2 in one roll. So I'm like, oh, obviously he stole a spare. But like if you just got a lucky Musashi in there, hey, there's your Buster, a big hitter.
Now
You have Saber
really
Lancelot?
banana.
That's great.
Zero Rama is listening, and he says, "I'm so sorry." No,
That's fine. It's just a joke. Actually, yeah. Would that be? No, it's not. It's not. Rashomon was not pre-America, but now much more time has passed. You may have been spooked by a Rama, who is also a perfectly good hitter in Rashomon. Lots of opportunities to grow your roster have happened since the original run of many events. So, just embrace it. Relax. You can take this. You can do this stuff. Moon Festival is probably going to be a cakewalk because that was an early level event. That was like real early. Hold on, let me look at what the Moon Festival quests are even like.
wasn't that back in like September?
Yes,
Oh,
this
yeah,
was
that
this was a
very
year
early
one
FGO.
event. Or if you want, heck, you could even say year 0 because we didn't, we started in the middle of the year.
Right.
So the main quests are dreadfully easy. What are the
Festival's
free
gonna
quests?
be-
What's the highest level free quest? Oh, yeah. Okay, so the goddess tier in the rerun, which costs you 40 AP, and I guess this is, you can run it multiple times probably, but this is to get the crystallized lore. So this is the highest level, is, the first wave is level 40 Shadow, Satheno, Euralia, and Medusa, who all have about 30k HP. So nothing. And then the final battle is a level 60 Orion with just under 260k HP. That's the hardest level
Really?
quest in that event. That's nothing. That's not even like 500,000 HP.
You could cheese it with something funny.
Yeah, like that. She's an archer. There are a lot of single target lancers. You could do some stuff. Actually, doesn't Orion count as male? I think
believe so.
I think they do, because it's technically Orion's Saint Gref. Hey, if you have Summer Tama, get ready to farm this. I know I will. NP3.
Skahawk,
that also
God
works.
Killer, get wrecked.
Oh yeah, because she's divine. Orion and Artemis are divine.
Yeah, so there are a lot of options you can do to just hit them over and over again.
Oh, no, Orion isn't divine. What?
I'd have
is
to
it
double check
because
that.
it's Orion's Saint Graph?
Yeah, no, I'm looking at, it's Greek mythology, males, humanoid males, weak to ML-ish. No divine. Heck.
Okay, but the male is there.
Yeah,
Yes.
the male is there.
So Tama Lancer works great. But yeah, no. So like, the game's not over just because you didn't get Merlin, just because you didn't get Jolt or whatever. If you're like me and you've spent a lot and you haven't got your Musashi yet, it's never over. And honestly, other than like we said, how at the moment the multiple chances to get more Merlins or more King Hassans are kind of far off, they'll still be there. And you never know. And it may surprise you. Like we said, we got a whole extra raid up on Raiko and Shuten over Thanksgiving to replace the fact that they didn't want to re-release Kentoki or release Ishtar early. That's a whole new raid up on 2 super popular and useful characters. So yeah, you never know. So yes, once again, don't quit. Just use your friend's Merlin or your friend Scotty. Though I did remark to myself, I joked because I use my my Berserker Lancelot a lot for 3-turn farmings. I joked that, well, I guess I'm gonna have to save a little bit of Quartz to roll for Scotty just to see if my meme powers of getting meta servants continue. Because I got Jolter and I got Merlin without really trying, and it's just like, oh, I was expecting this to be harder. And people, don't take me that as boasting, because like it is a little bit, but at the same time, remember, I'm the guy who spent over 300 Saint Quartz and did not get a 4-star.
Nah, for me it fluctuates. Like every other banner, I'll have a really hard time getting the servant that I want, and then the next banner, I'll get him in a flash.
Yeah, sometimes you have
Like,
to Ishtar made me work for it a little bit. Like it was, I think, like 3 or 4 rolls in before I got her. But I didn't hit, my breaking point. Mordred was in a couple. I have my infamous story where I got 2 Teslas on 6 tickets trying to pull for Lancer Altar. And then I got Lancer Altar on 1 ticket on the London raid up at Anniversary. I did it in the middle of a thunderstorm, so I think that helped. But yeah, no, like, obviously do save up your Quartz and judicial it out, but that's just because, honestly, I feel like when you get to roll a lot, you feel like you get more rewards out of it, right? Because you get more at once. Right. Like I said, I got a whole bucket load of SRs now. I finally got my Fran. It took me a whole year, but I finally got Fran. I was trying pretty hard for that one for a while.
Yeah, like I was just rolling for Abigail, and I managed to pull Atalanta Altar for the first time, and it was like, oh Jesus, I've always wanted her. That's nice, I guess. Yeah. Thank you. Like, it's not Abby,
and one
but
thing
I'll
that I will
take it.
say for the future, as much as limited units can be very meta-defining, permanent units are also important. We talked about Waver, who's permanent, who's the universal support kit. Tamamo's permanent, interestingly enough.
Yeah.
The other 2 color supports aren't permanent, but Tamamo is.
Tamamo is the greatest waifu. She's there for you.
Mm-hmm. And just the game has been really good over the last in JP over the last year of just adding more permanents. Napoleon was added, Anastasia, Bradamante, coming back to like an old school of seasonal events adding permanents. That's nuts, right? Like they added a permanent Lancer in year 3, or technically year 4. I guess we're in the middle of the 4th year, but yeah. So like, they added a lot of permanents to the game. Achilles, all kinds of permanents
Achilles
in many
and
classes.
Chiron are both permanent.
Yeah. So yeah, other than single target sabers, who are for some reason never permanent, the game has been very good about diversifying. And as much as I like to say, rolling a non-raid up SSR is like not something you can statistically count on, you will still occasionally roll SSRs, and maybe you will get spooked by something useful. The game has a fairly diverse roster as time goes on, so just relax, take it in order. Like I said, marshal your Quartz for who you want to roll for, just because you want to feel like you put your effort in, right? Like you don't want a banner to pass you by and feel like, oh, I didn't put any effort into that. But
I agree with that.
If you try and you failed, the game very rarely doesn't reward you for rolling. Minimum rolls suck, but they're not super common.
Like,
At
I
least for
only
me.
gave
God,
up
I
on
hope not.
Bradamante because I got Martha literally once every single 10 spin, so that I had NP5 Martha by the end of it. So I was just like, I think that's the moment I stop. Because I'm just like, Martha is clearly the dominant one here.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Any more would just be a waste. So
And hey, it's good. And you
I'll
had time
let
to
her be
save up
queen.
some quartz and roll on New Year's. And you got what you wanted.
That's
Really
what,
early.
and that's what I did, and lo and behold, it's granted me a caster Umu. So
Also, that's another great thing. The fact that JP is just throwing summer servants in random raid ups. Like Summer Martha in Christmas. Caster Nero coming back in like a New Year's event because she's popular. Just that's great. That's like I expect a lot of these limited servants to just come back whenever they feel like in the future. All right. Well, now we're at over 2.5 hours, and I haven't eaten dinner yet. So
that'd be a good
I
idea.
have a mighty need for a chili dog.
yeah, I feel like we should go ahead and wrap this up. So it's first off, it's time for our designated chilling hour. It's a new month, which means there's a new Teach Me Omega Sensei poll. This is for all of our $5 patrons. If you sign up at that level, and because we charge immediately, you can get in on this right away if you decide to support us at that level. I added 2 more questions to our backlog, which is what are the beasts and what do we know about grand servants? Not what are grand servants, what do we know? Because writing. At the moment, I think like 4 people have voted out of a possible like 8 or 9, I think, right now. But
I think this poll is probably my favorite one, just because all the choices are really good.
extra classes is definitively winning at like 3. I think there's like 1 for a person's origin, but obviously the pool's pretty small. Like if you wanted to support us at this level, you could get in there and squeak it. And remember, if it's a tie, Lucky is our official tiebreaker. And he will pick origin if it comes up, just to warn you.
Heh.
But yeah, extra classes is up there, beasts are up there. I decided to add, we were going to talk about this last week if we were going to do a show, that I would add those because obviously with the end of part 1, we can kind of talk about some of this stuff openly because like, I've been sitting on knowledge of the end of part 1 for years, literally since the game launched.
Oh my god, when we... Oh, sorry. People are talking in the thing, and someone said, what is it, Dragons and Noziverse? And then I said, George looks up, and I just remembered that George is a saint. George Ruler win.
George is one of those guys who could be any class. George is super broken. One of his noble phantasms literally makes people dragons. That's what Shiny Pogs and Church joked about. No, a dragon is literally whatever George points at and says, "Thou art a dragon."
Well, Voltic, when we already did what are altars.
Yeah, I think Voice was actually in that episode.
Yeah.
Oh, I might have been actually. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure you were. Honestly, there was a serious trend for a while there where you were actually with us when we did these exposition type episodes for a while.
Indeed.
But then we missed one because you got to be a busy boy.
Yeah.
You are busy.
I'm very much a busy boy now.
But yeah, so that's basically our upcoming topics. The poll runs for about half the month, and then we take a week to basically like report on the incidents, and then I do my research and I write the section. We haven't done CE or Servant Spotlight in a while. We probably will go back to that. So yeah, do we have any final thoughts?
Solomon was a great ending.
Solomon was a great ending. I said it has fueled my creative spirit. I want to say.
No, that's good. It's good stuff.
It made the journey of FGO actually feel worth it.
Yeah, it's one of those perfect capstones because it's like, oh, here's all the people you met along the way, and it brings you back up to the conflict, right? And it ends where it begins. Basically, it ends with you and Mash and Roman, right? And Chaldea and being the master.
Yeah. By the way, I cried during the final scene where you actually get to go the fuck outside.
Oh yeah, that's a great scene. That's especially great because Mash couldn't go outside before. She literally couldn't.
Yeah.
Oh.
Now she can. You go out, you see the fucking sky. Credits fucking roll. There's actually a vocal track.
Yeah, there's an actual credit scene. There's an ED theme.
I would play that, but we probably get strikes.
Yeah, it's got vocals. We'd probably get something. We could claim fair use, but then we'd have to be like talking over it and stuff.
Just a lot of great thematic weight to it. It wasn't just some fluff ending. It was
Well, yeah,
it
because
was
that's
actually a
that brought me back because
cornerstone
I
for
said
this
it
entire
begins where it
franchise.
ends. It actually it in a sense ends where it begins because at some point, like we said, it's just you. You literally revert back to just being alone, by yourself walking around, right?
Right.
Like Mash is gone, Foe isn't with you, Romani's gone. It's just like it's
Oh yeah, you
and
get
Gotia.
disconnected. You get disconnected from Da Vinci for a little bit.
Uh-huh.
Because the point of it all is even though your servants are the ones doing the fighting, you are the hero.
Right.
Yeah.
You did all this hard work, busting your ass up and down, all these singularities, two of which were huge. If you think about it, Septum and America were huge. Those were continental. The final battle in Septum is like in France or Iberia or something somewhere, right? When you fight Romulus, like you gotta go some distance.
Yeah. There are armies involved.
Actual days, even weeks pass.
Mhm. Babylonia, you spend a whole month goofing around in Uruk. You
can't
literally
wait for the
spent a
montage.
month of your life in that singularity, just living with these people who were totally going to die, and it was super thematic. Oh my god, I love Babylonia. Babylonia anime, please don't suck. Please don't suck. Also, God knows how much time passed in Camelot, where you're just wandering in the desert. You wander in the desert. You cross the ocean in a boat. You fought a lot of dragons in France, which was confusing and annoying, but you did it anyway.
You solved mysteries in London.
Yeah, you did. Also, I do love that FGO is a game that can have that difference in scale, right? We just talked about one singularity is all of America, and another one is London. And they both kind of work.
Well, it's also different genres. Like as I said, like London is kind of I wouldn't say murder mystery, but it's a mystery thriller.
Yeah.
But America is like literally like fucking Manifest
war piece.
Destiny. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like
America's
you
a
were
war
going-
movie.
Yeah.
And Babylonia is a kaiju film. Duh.
Yeah.
Also, we talked about Nasu being
Okeanos?
influenced. Tiamat's design is literally influenced by Shin Godzilla.
Yeah.
Like that's a literal thing that Nasu has said. He saw the movie Shin Godzilla and he was like, "I'm gonna put this into a singularity now."
This is why Unhip.
Camelot's a goddamn epic. That's what that is.
Yeah, Camelot's
Uh,
like the Kingdom of Heaven, or it's one of those classic like sword and sorcery like 3-hour movies.
Yep.
Right.
Okeanos is literally Pirate Adventure.
Yar.
It's like fucking Sinbad or Treasure Island.
Orleans is basically any story involving taking back a country from an evil tyrant.
Yeah, it's a fantasy archetype. There's evil dragons involved. Fuyuki's probably the slimmest, but that's
the
because it's
prologue.
literally
It's the-
Fuyuki. But it's the prologue. And
Yeah.
also, if you're familiar with Fate's Day Night, it's a bit of a sucker punch because you're like, oh, I know that bridge. That bridge is on fire now. Ooh, this is a bad
everything's on
place.
fire. Okay.
Septum is a sword and sandal story.
They should have got Jim Butcher to write it.
They should have. He loves those. That would have been a very different singularity then.
Yeah. Good thing they got him to do one later.
Anyway, all right. But yeah, the events are very varied, and FGO does that. But like we said, the finale is great at kind of encapsulating all those journeys. And like I said, it lets you review everything you've done, but at the same time, it ends where it begins. It resets you to 0. You finish the fight, just you alone against the world. All your friends are not there, just like how you started this journey. Also, you get to punch Floros a lot,
Which is cathartic.
which is
Very
good because he's a fucker.
God damn it. Lev.
Where's my Olga Mary pseudo servant win?
Punching
Right.
you will never bring Olga Marie back, but damn, does it feel good.
I'm
where's
sorry, I would like to
where's her foe save, huh?
Yeah, foe.
Foe just looks at just like foe.
Because he has no more intelligence. Oh
Actually,
my god. This makes me angry.
yeah, that's foe is foe's sacrifice is so sad, but also so heartwarming. Also, who's foe's voice actor or voice actress, I should say, since I'm pretty sure it's a woman. Do we know?
Watch it also be Aoyuki.
I wouldn't be surprised. I was like not shocked when somebody said that Eevee in Pokemon Let's Go Eevee is Aoyuki. I'm not surprised at all.
Actually, no, it's Kawasumi Ayako.
Nice.
Oh my god.
Of course it is. It's Kawasumi. Of course. Even more perfect. Wait, does that mean there's a faux caliber in there somewhere?
Faux caliber!
Also, since Kawasumi is Proto Merlin, there's also that too. Because they've Arthur, I believe, confirms that in his My Room dialogue that his Merlin is a woman, and it's Kawasumi doing Merlin's dialogue in Arthur's NP. So,
oh my god, I'm kind of upset though that when Foe attacked Merlin, he didn't use the word faux caliber. Oh my god.
No, but he does say faux Q, which, at least in the English transliteration, has some connotations, which I believe Foe intended. And it's their relationship, especially in retrospect, is so funny that Merlin basically was like Foe's roommate and was like, Foe, you gotta go get a job. You're just sitting on the couch eating Doritos. You gotta find a job.
And Foe was all like, "No, man, if I
wait around here, Foe."
But Foe was like, "Nah." As soon as well, that's the thing about like Foe. Like he was saying, like literally, if he goes out into civilization, he turns into a disgusting beast and will destroy people. So like literally, him being locked up in Avalon was keeping everyone safe. And Merlin's like, "Nah, fuck that."
Merlin was
Merlin's
smart
like,
though with his Merlin vision. He was like, because Merlin knows, being half incubus, he's like, I totally understand this whole feasting on humans thing. Listen, bud, you just need to get out there in the world. You'll be okay.
And
it
lo
worked.
and behold, we got the cutest mascot out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And you're
I am
gonna
hoping like,
go ahead, Lucky.
I mean, obviously, I'm talking about Mash being the cutest mascot, considering
best Kohai.
for her.
Best Kohai. Let me grail her when?
Also, here's a very important question I wanted to know. Her NP level's only 3? Delightworks?
Yeah. only 3.
Excuse me?
Very strange number to end on.
Yeah. Especially considering I know that they're gonna completely goofball her NP and skills later.
Yeah, it's so weird.
People are not happy about the mash adjustment for Lost Belt story.
But it's for a reason. It's
don't worry. I'm sure when we do Camelot 2 Electric Boogaloo, she'll get another NP upgrade. Just in time for Nasu to crush our hearts.
Of course.
My heart.
Because apparently that Lost Belt is crushing itself. So.
Yeah. Now, like, Lost Belt stuff's super interesting. I'm really glad they decided, like, singularities are cool and, like, they're people trying to attack top. But the Lost Belt says, oh no, these are literally alternate timelines. This is an actual future universe where history was permanently altered. And it should have been discarded. That's phenomenal in terms of storytelling.
Mm.
And hey, I think Voice, you were one of the first people to say this, but you finally got your idea there, where you said that one day we'll go to a Lost Belt where things are nice, and we did.
That was in fact Lost Belt 3. It was one of those Lost Belts where it's just like, I mean, if it wasn't expanding, we literally could have just let it be. I mean, nothing.
Yeah, except for the Emperor is kind of a dick, as you can judge from his skills.
But his people weren't really bothered by him, and he seemed like a good enough guy. And I mean, he was actually, according to translations, he was planning on just kind of testing us and just seeing, like, you know, like, maybe these people. Like,
yeah, well, he's very interested in our version of human order, especially once he gets access to a smartphone and he realizes, oh, this is what science and technology does if you let it among the people.
Right.
Which, literally, he's fascinated by a smartphone because he's like, so you're telling me that in your timeline, everybody can just have one of these devices and look up information and talk to each other? That's mind-blowing. That's terrifying, but mind-blowing.
Lost Belt 3 is just so good.
Yeah, it's really well written.
Hindsight.
Oh, now that I beat Sprout 1, I can go watch like Moonlight and like all that stuff.
Yep.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Shit.
Technically speaking, yep.
Yeah, because that's the prelude to part 2.
Yeah.
Actually, all the Lost Bells are just so good. The writing really improves
Yeah.
with time in this game. It's
I
quite
feel
astounding.
like they got their act together. Part 1 suffered from early game syndrome where like they didn't know necessarily what they wanted to do. Like, because we talked about how the scale of the conflict is super different, but does Septum necessarily feel like you're spanning a continent? Not really. They try a little bit, but it feels very much like the roster for FGO was picked first, and then they shoehorned in those servants to a story chapter. Though, like I said, I've personal thoughts. Like a lot of people have like common criticisms, which I'm just like, no, don't. You're not thinking in the like the right. You're thinking in straight lines. You should be thinking in curves. Like everybody's like, but why wasn't Boudica an Avenger and the villain? I'm like, then she'd just be a shitty flat female villain. She'd just be another crappy flat character in Septum. Not that they told it necessarily better, but when she comes back in Solomon and her and Nero have that moment where like, no, we're both heroic spirits now, probably, maybe. We can understand. We can both understand on a like core spiritual level. You are a tyrant of Rome. I am, the leader of my people in vengeance. But we can also understand that on an intellectual level, we're not really enemies. While also saying that our conflict is core. We cannot abandon our conflict, but we don't have to be mad at each other. Basically,
Right.
which is a way more interesting way to take that character. I think it's just that a lot of the conflict was wasted in Septum anyway.
Yeah, because Septum is weak as fuck. What? Okay.
Yeah, it's weak. I've just, like I said, like some people are like, oh, there's an obvious fix. Just do this. I'm like, no, you're like I said, you're thinking in straight lines.
Yeah.
Which they would, short of rewriting everything, it would not have necessarily made it better. And if you rewrite anything anyway, you could make the elements they introduced work anyway.
Right.
Like Altera could actually matter.
But Septum was also the very early days, and we can all agree, based on even interviews, that the very early days during that time were really strange. And
yeah, it was a Wild
there.
West. They had no idea what they were doing. They had no idea how popular it would be.
Right. Because
And
I have heard that the same person who wrote Septum and London chapters went on to write Shimosa, and Shimosa's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
So I think people learned a thing or two over at Delightworks.
Yeah, no, they figured out like what was actually the right pace for stories and how to actually handle her characters, or like handle the characters in the thing, and like how to approach them in ways that make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like future characters are very well handled most of the time. Like like when you run into like Karna in America, it's like, yeah, I'm here. I'm on these guys' side because they helped me out, and that's my thing. So
He's literally just there to be there for Arjuna to be his dichotomy.
and then yeah, but at the same time it works because they're like, well, here we are. We're on opposite sides of the war again. We're heroic spirits. We have to fight. This is the story.
Right.
And then Arjuna's like,
had a moment in fucking Solomon too.
yeah,
They basically did the same thing as
they basically say
Nero.
we must fight, but we also don't have to fight right now because we intellectually understand as heroic spirits outside of time what we must do, but we can also not abandon our conflict because that's who we are. And they finally get to team up, which is cool because they're brothers.
Random ass fucking thought. I remember fucking one of the strange lines basically when Gotia was literally fucking falling apart. Actually, a couple of the demon pillars actually started fighting with the servants. Like,
yeah, that's that was a great case of storytelling, which was just like it was almost like show don't tell. Like,
yeah,
yes, they told you what happened, but they did so in such a way that was like, as Gotia is basically trying to, or the different demon pillars are telling Gotia as their hive mind breaks up, hey, we're no longer in sync. Things are just crazy, and they do this by listing these examples, which they don't have to illustrate exactly what happens. They just mention, a couple pillars abandon the side to defend the heroic spirits. And some other pillars went
There's
crazy.
actually a comment about... Yeah, there's actually comments about that, like show versus tell. Unfortunately, like, that's the thing about one of the things about this medium is it's very hard to do.
Well, yeah, this is something I've always said about creative writing as we approach our third hour of the show, and we're still talking.
Oh my God. And this is supposed to be final thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is our final thoughts, I think, is talking about show, don't tell. How you tell something can be showing. It depends on the context. A lot of visual novel type stuff is written in, like, first person.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you actually get to read Gautia's thoughts. That's super showy, because that's telling you how those characters think, how they perceive the world, without actually literally saying, I, Gautia, think that humanity should be destroyed. Like, he explains why, because you see inside his head.
Yeah, but then that's like...
As a visual novel, where you're narrating actions and events and stuff, or FGO doesn't even narrate events at all. It's just
It's exposition.
Right. It's dialogue interspersed with, like, reaction shots and animations. There's only so much you can show. Like, the medium's not super interactive. And hopefully it continues to get better. Like, I don't think the CGs have gotten better, but I don't think there's been a lot of animation in Lost Belts so far, like in-engine stuff. I don't know for sure, but hopefully they continue that trend, because both of those sequences were very descriptive and very good at actually showing you stuff. So what is show versus tell to this game is very limiting, I think, in the nature of the medium.
Yeah.
All right, that's actually final thoughts.
Yeah, they do a great job of exposition that doesn't feel too much like exposition.
Yeah, it's not necessarily like a literal expository. It's like somebody has to explain what's going on, because you have no other way to see this.
Yeah, they don't. Someone, like, there's no, like, actions. There's only talking, so everything has to be done through the medium of talking. And unfortunately,
either you have to pick a choice to say something, which obviously characterizes what your action is, or, like, characters have to react. It's why you need MASH in every situation, because you need another person to say things so you can react to them.
But as I said, like, the Demon Pillars breaking down was a phenomenal piece of writing, just as you go along. So that was I want to mention that real quick. Yeah. But I think that's it for me. I hope. Yeah.
Somebody mentioned they want us to do, like, maybe a complete part 1 retrospective, like, ups and downs. I feel like we kind of just did that, but we might do in detail, like, think about what our favorite events were in the first part of the story, our favorite story chapters, because it may or may not have changed since we started. We might put some more formal thoughts on that. We could be obnoxious and do a top 7 singularities. We'll see. I don't think there's any other final thoughts. I hope you enjoy this giant show of the new year.
Yeah, really.
Oh, actually, Lucky, let's decide while we're talking about it, because we talked about it a little bit before the mics went on. But so editing and lo-fi versions. Well, we've had to do a couple lo-fi releases because Lucky's been super busy to edit. Well, he's not necessarily super busy to edit. He may or may not be motivated to edit, but I would, either as your business partner or your boss, Lucky, I would not want to hand you 3 hours and be like, have fun! Go at it, bub! That would be shitty of me to hand you that workload.
Yeah.
Well, unless you're me.
You're an animal. So we're gonna throw this thought out there. Like, obviously, I've said this before that I appreciate what Lucky does, and I know some people appreciate the editing too, but we really want to work on tightening up our pipeline and our workflow, so I think we might release this one in, like, lo-fi, and then, like, one, to just get it out in a timely manner, and two, not to spare editor Lucky the horrible hell of 3 hours. But just to, like, let people respond to us whether or not you really like and want some of the higher details editing, and, like, how much you want. Because, like I said, we want to tighten this process up a little bit. So give us your feedback on what you do and do not like. Because, like I said, I like some aspects. I like the background music. I like the transitions that Lucky worked so hard on. I would love to be able to show NP videos, but we need to work on our timing on that and stuff. And we need to do fancier scene transitions like some people.
Oh, are you referring to me?
But
Yeah,
wait,
'cause-
boys, that reminds me. That's something I did want to ask you. What editing software do you use?
My assistant editor uses Sony Vegas.
Really?
Photoshop and Sony Vegas.
God, because I have Vegas too, and I'm like, what the
He
fuck?
did construct every piece of animation you saw in the entire thing, so those transitions were all him.
Wow.
He did not have a preset. He literally made them from scratch.
Well, that's kind of what you did when you made our segment transitions, where you recorded the faux loops.
Yeah, no, I can do stuff like that too. I was just wondering, wondering for some of the effects. Like, I was like, where did it fucking?
Maybe you guys should get in contact and share tips.
I'm guaranteeing you 100% that he'll just be sharing with me. I have nothing fancy to give to the.
I will admit, Azel's also kind of a super genius. So, I mean, some of the stuff he did in there is honestly quite amazing, and he was being modest the whole time. He's like, I hope people don't criticize these too much, and I'm just like, criticize? This looks fucking amazing.
No, it's great. But yeah, so like I said, that video was. It's funny to say this. That video was only 30 minutes.
Yeah, I guess only 30
compared to some of the stuff
thing.
we do. It's like they are different time scales.
Honestly, if we had shorter videos to work with, I could probably start branching out and start doing crazy shit. But as I said, when I have so much, I'm I'm just gonna try and get this out as fast as possible. So let me just do some basic shit.
We want to, like I said, figure out what people are interested in specifically, so we can focus on those aspects and really like I said, I've said it 3 times I think now, but tighten up the whole process. So Editor Lucky doesn't have to work that hard to get what people want out of it, because it's interesting. Like I said, a lot of our lo-fi stuff has gotten just as much view retention and views, if not more, than our higher quality episodes. So as usual, it's this part, the talking, which people actually appreciate. And yes, Pogs, you're right. Someday we will actually hire an editor. But yeah, I like the visual enhancements just because I think it makes us look more professional than.
And yes, guys, I do actually pay Azel.
Yeah.
So it's not a matter of he's not doing it for free either. I mean, granted, he admitted to me one day, he was like, he's like, I just want to be part of the channel, and it's it doesn't even matter if I get paid anything. And I'm like, oh no, I'm paying you. I've made that very clear. I'm like, I am paying you because you do an amazing job.
Yeah. So yeah,
that's where a huge portion of the Patreon money goes to.
We want we want you guys, the audience, to feedback on us and what parts do you like about visual episodes? What parts do you not care about? What is the minimum amount of quality for you, the listener / viewer? And we'd love to hit that because we like I said, we do want to do some amount of work just to keep it professional, but at the same time, there's so much time and effort and stuff that goes into it. Especially on this monster. Alright, we're 3 hours, 5 minutes. I think I said my piece.
That was all good.
I think I got out everything I wanted to get out. Hopefully our live audience enjoyed this. Thank you so much for sitting with us for this entire duration, you guys. There's gotta be over a couple dozen of you.
Just work hard, stay in school, and don't do drugs, kids.
That's the Voice of St. Quartz promise. So, I will do our usual outro. Hey everybody, if you liked this episode, give it a like. Really helps out the channel. Makes us feel good about ourselves. Makes you feel good about yourself. You liked something. If you have any comments about any of the many, many things we have talked about today, leave them in the comment section down below. You can also consider joining our Discord. That link is in the description. You could have listened to this episode live, and maybe future special ones. We're just under 1,400 subs, and I'm sure we will hit that because Voice's name is going to be in the title. I think maybe we'll do another live episode for 1,500, though.
I'm fine. Yeah, fine with that.
That's a decent milestone, So,
I just want to say that thank you to everybody listening. I'm actually stunned at the amount of people listening to this podcast right now, as of the live recording of this. So, thank you all for actually staying tuned for at least most of it.
Yeah. Thank you.
And, of course, if you are new here, and you are still here after 3 hours, oh my god, I'm sorry.
I'm not.
Please subscribe to the channel. One, because it motivates us to do more stuff, and just in general, it lets you keep track of our videos, and it kind of raises our profile up so we can get more stuff done. And of course, as it says at the front of the episode, consider supporting us on Patreon. You can access the episodes early in audio format for just $1 a month. Just right away, as soon as I'm done with the editing and post-processing, we post the audio for $1 patrons. It just helps us out, you know? Lucky's jobless now, so you could be directly supporting him.
Yeah.
In his work and stuff, and that's kind of
honestly,
our goal.
I could put this until I find a new job. I could put the effort into more editing, but
yeah, you've got a lot more time now. That's for sure.
Yeah, but once I get a job again, that time will strictly tank again. So
unless, of course, you, the audience, support us so much that Lucky doesn't have to get a new job.
That's actually something we're going to try to probably bring up on What's Up. Is
Yeah,
we're going to
talk about
maybe like Patreon goals and whatnot.
Yeah, we're gonna sketch out some of our like I said at the beginning of the show, hashtag goals on What's Up in future. Soon. But anyway, that's the show. I hope you guys had fun. Gentlemen, as always, it has been a pleasure podcasting with both of you.
Bartending with Lucky Win. Voice, thank you. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're very welcome. Anytime.
So yeah, we'll let you go. We'll let all of you go. There's so many of you. Oh my god, don't you have stuff to do with your lives? I'm gonna go eat. Voice is gonna go to be amazing and have lots of subs and stuff.
Yay!
And
do you guys want me to sing closing time as we close out here?
Go ahead.
I'm looking at the chat.
Yes.
Yes.
It'd be appropriate.
yes, do it.
Do it or no balls.
Songs with Lucky. Closing time. One last call for alcohol, so finish your whiskey or beer. Closing time. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. I know who take me home. I know who to take me home. I know who to take me home, so take me home. And we're done.